No, this is not a Hollywood blockbuster. The planes crashing into these towers are real. And these buildings crashed to the ground, including one that wasn't hit by anything at all. The American population was terrorized, hypnotized, and traumatized by repetitive showings of the devastation, with the media repeating over and over that it was a terrorist attack.
Race don't matter, your faith don't matter, the enemy is government tyranny, all that other shit don't matter.
There's a devil and an...
Oh yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace, the Dark Chameleon. Peace in the Listen, check it, yo. It was a cold April morning under the constellation Aries. The moon was 85% under the luminaries. From the celestial waters to the womb my soul was carried. Then my mother gave birth to a warrior and visionary. But when I speak this truth, I feel like nobody hears me. Every once in a while, I give sight to someone blind, floating on the globe in the heliocentric lie. Dilate your pupils the more you open your eyes. The truth is sitting in plain sight like a disguise. Until my mother's death is revenge, I won't feel satisfied. It haunts me when I think about the phone call when she died. A river worth of tears shed from my eyes. So I looked up at the sky and I asked God why. It's been 21 years, I'm still waiting for a reply. Since birth I've been at war, the attack our undeveloped minds. Indoctrination camps making us dumb, deaf and blind. I'm always thinking solutions, we are running out of time. The dirty witchcraft is weak, I see through all the lies. I clearly analyze all the symbols and the signs. When I connect dots, the truth starts to align. The people are the power, you can never eclipse my shine. I say the truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. They say hell burns and there's a one-way ticket for me. You create your heaven or hell whether or not you believe. I'm God and Satan, I have to balance out my chi. One day these seeds I plant will bloom so you can be all you can be. Never give up and always hold your head high, cause you are God, there's no need to look to the sky. Check it, yo. I always be analyzing to see who's fake. People acting Janus, running around two-faced, talking behind my back until they put in their place. You're a two-course meal without saying grace on the internet. Talking shit through your fingertips, talking high power till your shine is eclipse. Trying to ride a wave until your mind is seasick. Cement shoes and your ankles tied with 3 bricks. This isn't Grand Theft Auto, this is real life. I will piss on your grave and throw dick to your wife. This is a warning mixed with some advice. You might be king, but I'm the ace of spades, and you just reneged. This is food for thought, bitch, eat a grenade. This is what people want, this beach treated like dirt. I tried being humble, but that was absurd. All the brainless pigeons flock together like birds, pecking for crumbs until they merge with the crossroads and chuck the demi-urge. I think they had enough, I took the trash to the curb. Let the torture begin and watch them burn. Here's the urn.
It's hard to keep it real with fake people. They can take love, mix it with hate and make evil. I'm staring at 50 shades of gray people. It's a brand deception, like K-Vino. They are who they say they isn't. On the internet, spreading everybody's business through a troll account. Talking foul, not knowing what goes around comes around. The flat out truth is the energy change when I come around. I guess London Bridge is falling down. Hey, Depot, Starly Mouth. We know all about the narrative painting. To control the clout, they gatekeepers. Trying to stop the ones trying to awake people. HOTC.
Hey, Dom. Today is going to be all about looking within self, because after yesterday's charade, I think people have a lot of anger built up inside of them. You know, that's my opinion. I try my best to eliminate finger pointing. You know, I talk my shit and point things out from my observation, but it's all up to self, man, to maneuver through all this peacefuls and tools. Dom, I always think to myself, if I ignored all this shit, people would be like, that's going back to sleep. Kind of would be better for the mind state to ignore, because regardless of what I say, it's gonna happen. They're gonna do it. I'm prepared for anything, whether it's good or bad. But yeah, I forgot to shout out London yesterday. Knew I was forgetting somebody else. I didn't even, it never fails. As soon as I get up and walk away, I always miss stuff. I love this picture right here. Kind of reminds me of Hartford, but a lot smaller. Hey, Dom, what's up? How's everything?
Morning, Charles. Myself, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well.
I'm alive. Nothing I can't conquer in the process.
That's a good start.
Yeah, I try to wake, when I awake out of my slumber, I try to start thinking positive right away instead of waking up miserable. That's difficult for me. You know, I was telling myself this morning, I got myself in a lot of these positions, I'm going to get myself out of them. But yeah, yesterday turned out to be, those topics always bring up, man. That's why I don't, I mean, through my research, you know, I stand on what I said. I don't, you know who came first and all that. Turned into a big, I think some of these ideologies they pitch, you know, they use people, right? They draw people in
and they find out, these people are good with finding out, when they draw people in, then their job is to find out who you are, so they know what heartstrings to pluck. Boom. And they use your anger or how you feel about something. They'll use your feelings and definitely pluck on them strings, to get you to accept or their ideologies or religions or whatever. I mean, does it matter who came first? I guess maybe to a person it can.
Sorry, Charles, I didn't watch yesterday's channel.
It was alright.
But I'm hearing you talk about ideologies.
Yeah, Truth Zone is just passionate about, what he speaks. I got nothing but respect for Truth Zone. But he sees things different, and that's fine.
Isn't that a given? As people become aware, that's a given, that we all think differently or perceive things differently.
It's a good thing.
Well, I don't know if it's a good thing, but it is a thing. So regardless of whose mouth it came out of, what is ideology for people? It's ideals, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if it's an ideal, the best we could do with each other out of respect is hear each other.
Right.
It's the responsibility of each person when they choose to cast a judgment. I agree, I disagree. I like it, I don't like it. It's positive, it's negative. Isn't that on them then at that point? Because if it is, and people become aware, and then they're trying to convince otherwise, that's called noise. It's useless noise. Because it doesn't serve anybody but themselves. So then why are they trying to get somebody to cult up with them? It's like philosophy. Philosophy is about the whys. It's not about saying, well, Socrates better than Kant. Religion is about teachings. It's not about whether or not Jesus is better than Muhammad. But if a person really wants to take a side, be prepared to realize you just culted up. And how does it serve when you never live inside of their vessel? You're never going to truly experience all the things that they've experienced.
That's very good right there, Dom, that you said that. Say that again about living in their vessel.
Yeah, you're living in your vessel, within your vessel, that concept of eye of the beholder. Not just those eyes, but the eye.
Well, no, you said you'll never truly be able to experience how that person feels, because you're not living in that person's body.
Well, if you're going to use the concept of feelings, yes. And then at that moment when you feel that, your reaction or your responsibility will indicate where you're at. If I feel I'm upset because I heard something, that tells me a lot about me. I'm not developed, because that has nothing to do with me. If a tree with my eyes falls down, if I'm affected by it, then I have to ask myself the question, why am I affected by it? Well, because there was a squirrel on it. Because that's just an external thing. When somebody actually tells you something, like on TV or with a voice, in this case, it's the same concept, but it's being projected through a TV, and you're affected by it, that reveals you, nobody else. Somebody beside you might say, well, I'm affected too. I say, but based on their own experience. We're bumping with each other in the dark here. Just because we're in the light, you're seeing something out there. That doesn't mean that's real. And now, of course, then that opens up the question, what is your perception of real? Thoughts? Because I see something that I give a description to. Once you become aware of those things, then you realize, what game have I been playing and what game am I still playing? And then as soon as a person keeps on, quickly defends that position or attacks it, that should reveal something to the other person. Oh, that's where they're at. Okay. There should be no, I agree or disagree. Oh, that makes me happy. That makes me sad. Oh, okay. Well, then you move on. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here from within. But people are still perpetually looking at that outside realm and hoping for it to change. Well, that's constant. You just don't see the other things beyond what you've been conditioned with your senses, such as air and wind. Well, Dom, I've never had that thought. I said, bingo, you've never had that thought. Because most people are reacting with what comes after thoughts. When I speak, when I read things, hence the written work, or I see symbols, you see a stop sign, you're going to have a reaction, or you have responsibility. Oh, I've been conditioned to look at a shape of eight-sided shape and it's red. Well, why did they take away the word stop? Why? Do you have to be completely an idiot to have everything indicated to you? Because if it was just about being red, then every time somebody sees a red shirt, they would stop. Would they? Don't know. And even if I did know, I would have to have discernment. How does that serve me to know somebody else stops when they see a red shirt? That's when you become the observer. You know, you're not going to force yourself, Charles, wake up every morning to basically say, I got to be positive. You're better off redirecting that and saying, why am I angry? Why am I upset? Why am I struggling? What are those things? And of course, that's all within. That's why people try to escape, because they really don't have the tools to understand how to work with those things. Now, they might get upset and say, well, I'm going to like what you hear. I said, you just revealed yourself once again. I might understand what they're doing, but it's their existence. How does it serve me to know how they actually ponder things? It's better for them to understand themselves. So then we can just share with each other. I've just learned to play with a stick, and I know how to make a musical instrument on it. And then somebody turns and goes, well, but I like rap. How does that have anything to do with what I just kind of talked about a stick? Unless they say there's an association to it. Oh, okay, I'll hear you. Go ahead. Fill your boots. And you don't have to be 60, 70, 80 years old to be aware of those moments. We've always had them. The distraction is what we do to ourselves. Thinking that somebody else distracts you, no. It doesn't work that way. That means that I could have 30 TVs around me and saying, well, yeah, Dom, they're trying to distract me. No, I've chosen to look at those 30 TVs. Well, Dom, there's no way you can comprehend all those different TVs. I said, no different can some people or can't comprehend what's even going on with one TV. Comprehend, understand. Most people are trying to make sense with meanings. That's why we use the English language. What does that mean, Dom? I don't know. You tell me. Well, why would you say that, Dom? Well, you're the one that asked the question. But even if I did know, wouldn't it be better served, since you asked the question, you should follow up? Yeah, but I'm asking you. I said, why? See, how could I give him a philosophy question? Why? Parents used to complain about their kids always asking them why, because they didn't feel aware enough to say, well, maybe I need to guide my child. So now I'm doing the same thing with adults. Why? Why do you get upset because you see something on TV? Why do you get happy when you see a beautiful car? Well, Don, I don't question. Go ahead. Go ahead, Charles.
No, when you said why, for some reason, I was thinking of the letter Y. Stupid, but anyway.
Yeah. But again, if people will question what they perceive as negative, such as I hate this, okay, then do you ever question why you like this? Well, why would I do that? I said, well, you don't put the nuts and bolts to what you like, so why would you actually now want to spend an enormous amount of energy to do the nuts and bolts, the things that you don't like? Because the more you resist something, it's like going to the gym, the more you're going to develop something. More muscles. Yeah, but I don't want to develop muscles. Oh, okay. So do you want to attach to things? You want to attach yourself to eating bags of chips? Well, why would I do that? I said, well, if you did do that, you might end up gaining a different type of thing called fat. Opposed to just observe those things. You're going to still participate in those things, by the way. That's why change is constant. It's not like as though I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to stop not having any more attachment. No, that's a given in my world. Well, Dom, he has his own view. That's a given in my world. I give people way too much fucking credit to think for some reason they've already done their own work. So then we can just share with each other, opposed to fucking bitch and complain or start doing, oh, wow, I really agree with whatever. And you can just fill in the blanks at that point. I really like country music. Oh, okay. I really like Bollywood movies. Oh, okay. Well, you just said that you like it. Would you like to elaborate? Because do I have to ask questions now? Well, Dominic, I like Bollywood. Okay. The reason why I like Bollywood music is because I like the choreographing of them dancing. Okay, so do you also like breakdancing too? Why would you say that, Dom? Well, because I've just had an association I want to share with you. I want to see if we can relate somehow. Well, Dom, but don't you like Bollywood too? I said, that's an easy thing to say, but I'm giving you something to associate. This is how we share with each other. And and then we can walk away from these kind of conversations. And I said, fuck, I learned something today. Instead of me I have to always do it on my fucking own. And then I have to trudge through everybody else's bitching and complaining or going around, oh, I just have three more kids. Oh, okay, good. And what's that going to do for you? Well, Dom, I'm going to have an adoption agency. Oh, that seems kind. And where did you get the idea of adopting kids? Well, I grew up a bunch of friends, and then the story kind of starts folding. It's like when Charles, when you're doing poetry with rap, then you start getting into that channeling mode. Next thing you know, you're starting to click. And then you say, oh, I like it. That's fine. Those likes and dislikes should be for oneself. But to tell other people, that's like saying, Dom, I just, I ran 100 miles today. Okay, that's nice. I can ask questions if I want to. And I think I'm really good at it. Okay. It sounds like the guy's about to start bragging. Okay. I'm the best in the world. Okay, he's starting to brag now. At that point, Charles, I could be anybody in front of that person. So he's not really trying to share with me. He's insecure, but he's masking with a false sense of security by bragging about it. Okay, so are you trying to encourage me to run 100 miles today? Well, no. Are you trying to encourage that anything I accomplish, I should make it sound like I'm the best? What? Have you ever proven that you're the best than anybody else? Have you ran against everybody in this world? Well, no. So then you've made a lot of assumption at this point. Yeah, but I want to feel good about myself. Oh, we'll buy you some ice cream, I guess. That could make you feel good. Well, I don't like ice cream. Here we go. And at that point, Charles, that's noise. The reason why I say that, because that's how most of us talk. And the only ones that ever usually grab legs is when people start arguing on a particular point. And then it just goes into this like machine gun scattering of all kinds of blah, 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 and blah, 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 whatever that means to anybody.
I like that. Blah, 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 blah. Stuttering.
Yeah. And then in the end, or it's never the end, in part of the process, then we kind of revisit again. And I don't agree with this particular person's view on whatever. I'm like, so, but how would that serve you? That's that constant thing within oneself. I use that for myself. That's how I decipher things. Where some people might say, well, I'm looking for all my likes and dislikes. When I don't like something, I will mask it with something I like.
That reminds me of when you say they're counting all their likes and dislikes. In my mind, I thought about that. She loves me not, plucking the fucking flower petals.
And then when it's not favorable, then they get another one. I said, well, then you're not really looking for a true result from within. You're trying to control the outcome. Then why even play the game then? I've had conversations with people, Charles, where they ask me something, I entertain it, and then in the process, you said, well, I don't agree with it. And I said, okay, so have you already made up your mind? They said, well, yeah. Well, then why did you cleverly try to bait me into that conversation? Opposed to just share. If you don't agree with the shape of the earth, okay, good enough. I might entertain the idea and say, okay, is there any proof for you? Not for me. You have nothing to prove to me. Yeah, but Dom, you talk about it too. I said, yeah, but I don't think anybody needs to fucking convince me that I'm right or wrong. You want that shit? You go to religion. You go to state. Right and wrong. That's a funny word because I would lean more towards right and left. I think to have the concept of right and wrong, either position is a pious position. That's like mastery and slavery. I think they're both pious positions. The only difference is, person says that there's a master will say, what? You're just enjoying your settlement? You're just from a different position within the well? That's the concept of right and wrong. For me, for other people, well, Dom, I don't agree with that. I said, what's your interpretation of those words? Because you're obviously not discussing it. You're too busy saying you quickly reveal who you truly are. You brought in your likes and dislikes. I was talking about the word right and wrong. Charles, we're fucking pathetically, when we're being so schooled and indoctrinated, easy to read. And then people wonder why. I wonder why whoever these people are, the elites, are easy to manipulate us, because we're broken. Right. And we're breaking each other constantly among ourselves. That's why they do the public displays and all this kind of stuff. They want to see, we're not looking for the masses. We already know they're broken. We're looking for the few.
Right. That's where they're at now. And I think, like I said, when these Obama phones came out, and, you know, because a lot of people, I'll just get to the point. Like you said, they're searching for the people that still see through their bullshit and are a minor threat to fanning, you know, the ambers that are left. They don't want an inferno to start. Mm-hmm. They're looking for the best bet is to go underground. Just get off of these devices.
You would hope so, but at the same time, I could even be an agent, unaware, meaning that when I talk and other people get affected, I said, hey, that guy's doing our job. We want to find out who all the people that are awake. Well, those people that are disturbed, they're asleep. So that guy's done our job. That's why I say publicly, there's only certain information you should share. And what you should be sharing is to find out your fellow tribe members and what's whatever important. Then you should go more quiet, privately. Even when you're with yourself, you go in that state of silence. Because when we try to share out loud, what does it really sound like? Like, think of the word sound, frequencies. And if a person's already been, harmonized with their likes and dislikes, because there is sounds and frequencies, so that's all they're going to be looking for. I only like rap, so at this point, I'm only going to be looking for music that I like. I'm confused now. What do you mean? Well, I like rap, but I don't like that type of rap. Do you see the division that one does within oneself, opposed to saying, wait a second here, shouldn't I be listening to the lyrics too? And in decipher, having discernment, the difference between the music that's played in the background or forefront, or what they're sharing. But most people get caught up in their likes and dislikes. Well, I like his voice. It sounds so soothing, as it's pulling me towards the cliff. Opposed to, what's the message? What is the person saying about their community when they're rapping? No different. What's the Bible? What is it communicating in each of those stories? Same with political. There's a message in all politics speeches, but it's not designed for you. It will affect you. Most people think, well, those things have nothing to do with me. I said, maybe not directly, but indirectly it will affect you. Last time I remember, you live in this realm with the rest of us. Now, some people say, I don't care. I said, the fact that you just said that out loud, you don't even know how to fucking care, because only morons say shit like I care or don't care. Especially if you're the kind of person that wants action. Well, then be the action that you want to see. Well, I don't want to do that, Dom. Oh, okay, then that's why you have governments. You want them to give you the illusion that by talking, that's what you want. If this was a how-to channel, I would be asking people, okay, so show me how to take an engine apart. Because I've listened to you now for an hour. Do you think you're going to actually show us the practical part now too? Because sometimes you have to theoretical theories, I guess, think about being a surgeon. You have to think about it over and over again before you really have a chance to get in there and cut somebody open. And you'll hope you're around somebody else that have actually done both. But a lot of people come into even these kind of channels, they hear a little bit and they say, shit, well, we should do something now. Okay, so are you going to be able to maintain whatever you're going to do? Well, probably not. So you're being led by your likes then, or your dislikes. They like each other, whoever the elites are. The masses dislike. They spend way too much energy hating on whoever they want to depictuate as wrong.
I think, from my observation and years of more observation and, reading this and that, mostly observation, all these political speeches and stuff remind me of the WWF. Mm-hmm. It's all noise. that people want to hear to keep us happy, even though it's, you know, they're selling dreams and lies and fake promises, but it's like the WWF, and they'll even talk shit about each other, and behind the scenes they're like, good job, Trump. You know, I liked how you know, to keep us divided and arguing amongst each other seems to be, and they don't even need to say anything. People do it on their own, which is even more when they're working their magic there. Uh, like Trump is a good magician for the fact that he takes over the room, speaks with authority. You know, his hand movements are like a magician a little too much, but these people are not stupid. They study the people, and it's even easier for them to study us. Like I even think they put like psychiatrists and stuff in the communities to study the people, just like the churches used to report when people would confess and do all that. Studying the people is so much easier nowadays. Excuse me, with all these phones and stuff.
Okay, Charles, you're trying to get into an industry like such as rap. You're a foot soldier learning how to rap. You might have good lyrics or good rhymes, but for you to be known by other people in other parts of the world, you're going to have to eventually be inside of a system where there's thousands of people participating. So now when people write scripts, whether for TV or movie, or in this case for politics, either you're going to have masterminds that are behind all of that. So it'll be like me, you playing a chess master and say, well, we can't beat them. And then we find out they're the same ones that actually write all the scripts. The masses fight among themselves because they're still into that. They think they're smart and they think other people are wise. Well, those other people are just being clever. So now in this case, a lot of the scripts probably aren't even written by humans. So you're already at a disadvantage. Unless those people are getting into states, you know, certain states.
You think they channeled a lot of the, excuse me, scripture?
That's why when they actually do certain things to certain children, they want to know what kind of gifts they have. And then they manipulate them, and then those are channelers for them, and then they can channel information. That's why when you hear TV shows or whatever, the comedians or whatever, they're channeling information, and then they become writers. Same with music. That's why sometimes a lot of the rap singers, they're not writing those lyrics. They might be targeted and find out, okay, this person has a good voice, there's a good following, we're going to take them and then we're going to redevelop them. And then when they're in the industry, say, no, you're going to be singing songs that we give you, and this is how you're going to dress, because they're channeling all that information. So we're already at a disadvantage when it comes to the masses, already looking very low, thinking low. So when you look at a guy like, we'll choose Donald Trump, they've been handpicking guys for years. So when they rehearsed him into WWE, because all that's scripted, because if you're really listening to the message that those guys are talking about, they're usually talking satanic, they're talking about damn God. Well, why are they damning God? Because the fallen ones don't really
damning themselves too.
Because they hate the fact that they are gods here, but they know that there's something above them. This is the same thing with humans. Once they become aware there's other people that are successful, it will test to see if they're true to themselves. I like the position that I'm in. I'm a simple person. Where other people said, I want to be better than that. I said, is it because something inside of you is telling you that, or because you've seen something outside, like through a TV or radio? That's called jealousy and envy, and that can never be fucking quenched. That's what hate is. It'll never be quenched. Now, can you actually try to harness that energy? Good luck. That's why some people have to settle with this thing called content. I'll be just content in my position. That's why there's many different types of paths. People are always gauging, okay, so I'm looking for somebody else I can join with. No, I don't like this because that person's talking, what? Because I'm trying to talk balance? If I'm going to talk about the negative things, I have to also talk about the positive things. Especially when I understand the negative is actually fueling the positive. The unknown fueling the known. Well, Dom, I only agree with the light. Okay. At that point, Charles, I'll say this jokingly. Let me go get some old popcorn. Why? Because this is going to be entertaining. You're going around, driving around in a car, trying to prove to everybody else you can drive your car with only the positive lead now. But isn't that car designed both negative and positive? And isn't the car itself grounded? That's why it's called a car, opposed to a boat.
Driving a car with 3 wheels.
There is cars like that. And it's designed that way, but there's still that constant of positive and negative on there.
Yeah, you're right. There are cars. That's right. They got 2 wheels in the back. Or no, wait. They got new ones where the 2 wheels in the front and 1 wheel in the back.
It's all about balance. Again, it's all about balance, Charles. The guys that can ride on 1 wheel, it's all about balance. 2 wheels, it's balance. 4 wheels, balance. A lot of times when you get into bigger amount of wheels, then you don't have to worry about balance for yourself. The object itself has been taught to be, or designed to be balanced. That's why when people look at airplanes, or when they talk about what they might perceive as UFOs with these discs, it's all about balance. It's no different when you fly a drone and realize that 2 corner propellers are spinning differently than the other 2. It's all about balance. And I'm using just the word balance. It could be other words too. And then we can move up and down. Again, that's all about movement at that point. We think that's alive in our perception. That's why when I tell people, then what's your version of reality? Because if I see something moving and the person says, but we're alive, I said, we're moving too, whoever we are, but we're moving with a vessel. So therefore, is the car that I move within, in this case, the Russian doll, myself, the vessel that I'm in, goes inside of another vessel called the car. Is that alive then? Well, it must be, Dom. Why? Because it's moving. I said, okay, so then a rocket must be alive then too. Because if I roll it, that's me always being the beginner's mind. I'm not trying to judge those things. I already judge enough shit. But I'm trying in those other areas to distinguish the difference, hence discernment. In this moment, can I truly see it for what it is? When somebody says to me they're black, I'm trying to apply discernment. Okay, so I have a black bone and they're saying that they're black. And they're trying to say, okay, are we talking about the spiritual? You're in the unknown? Or are you talking about the physical? Because if it's the physical, I clearly see that that person is not black. But then they'll say the word black. No different somebody calling me white. I said, I'm not white. Well, Dom, you're more pink. I said, okay, sure. That's a little bit better of a description. A description. This is how I maneuver around with these eyes to perceive different things. I said, what would I call that? And then one day I came to that awareness. Dom, you actually don't see words. What? That was my response. And then I stayed, instead of me resisting it and quickly attaching to it, I start pondering. That's when you get into that status of just observing it without judging it. People just don't realize how much we judge. Well, Dom, I just don't judge all the time. I said, okay, well, fill your boots. Today's a good day. Okay, that's a judgment. Yeah, but that's not a bad thing. Well, that's another judgment. Those are called categorizations, labels. Hence, when a person goes into a state of silence and then start observing, but I want to say something. Okay, what are you going to say? Well, I like it today. Oh, why? Because it's raining? Well, I don't like the rain. Well, somebody needs the rain. At that point, I'm trying to discover whether or not that person is self-absorbed. They're not seeing that they're the small picture within the bigger picture. Something or someone needs rain. Yeah, but I don't care about that. And that's when I started laughing. Then you really don't know how to care. Because if you truly understand about caring, don't you need food? Well, yeah. Doesn't rain need to help for garden? Well, yeah. Well, that's different, Dom. Well, then everything's different. At that point, Charles, I'm talking to a child. The reason why I say child is because most of us aren't developed in our emotions. Between the age of 7 and 14, those are the childbearing years. That's why they're caught up in their likes and dislikes. And they're more or less not even caught up in both of them. They're going to say half full, half empty. Don't just pick one. I'm caught up in my likes. So you're not even bringing in your dislikes into this conversation.
Shit. When do they say the brain fully develops at what, 27? I think
25, 27, and that might be. It depends. Other people might live in very tough environment, and they might be forced at a younger age to develop that. and vice versa. Some people that are very comfortable in their upbringing, you know, not to say the parents are trying to spoil them, it might be 30 or 40 before they truly develop their brain. But those other things, they have developed in years. You can capitalize on those things, you know, the first 7 years. Physical development. How many people truly wean their children anymore? You know, 2 or 3 years of giving the human milk. And then they wonder why later on in life, when they say, well, I'm really low in calcium. Because those are the precious years. You can't get that from another animal. You can drink a cow's milk, but that's not yours to drink. That's designed for another animal. But we've been conditioned to think that we're supposed to drink. Okay, so no problem. Let's get a bunch of us. We'll drink cow's milk. Are we going to do the back check? 20 years down the road, why is that person's malnutrition? Well, if that's not enough, okay, let's wait till they're 60 and they're having heart attacks or their diabetes. You know, that's follow-up. That's like owning a business. You have to do inventory. You have a business plan. You have to follow up. Because if you don't, how do you even know what's working for you? Well, Dom, it just works. But how? What's the nuts and bolts to that? Especially if I'm trying to teach my kids or teach my friends. You know, I could teach them by example, but what's the nuts and bolts? Dom, we have a certain custom that we do or tradition. Okay. Can I question it? Why, Dom? Because if I don't question it, we're either going to, the next generation, we're going to follow it aimlessly or we're going to end it. That's why, you know, people should question, Dad, why do you do what you do? So I'm glad you asked. Why? Because I just don't want you just to do it. I want you to understand why we do this. I've done a lot of work to understand this. So now I'm going to share the words with it. I'm going to break my silence. But even though we do break our silence all the time with our actions.
There's definitely no dumb question, that's for sure.
It's only usually a dumb response. In this case, they're not really putting a lot of thought. Why would I tell somebody else? That question is either dumb or smart or wise. You know? To think something's dumb would imply that you must know what dumb is. To think something or feel something's wise, it would imply that you understand what it is. You can only understand something if you're actually within oneself able to comprehend it. You might not be able to act it out, practice it. Like with me, I'll say it openly. I know a shitload about health. Doesn't necessarily mean I practice it. Now, somebody might get upset. Well, Dominic, I only will follow people that will talk about it and do it. Well, then go look for those balanced people. Don't rip me into it just because I want to talk about it. No different. There's people out there that just do it. They literally, you can see them. They actually practice health, but they might not have the ability to actually explain it. Most people aren't striving to be balanced. Some people are so caught up in their emotions. Some people are caught up in their mental states. Some people are caught up in their physical state. It would be nice if a lot of us are striving to be balanced, be truly three-dimensional beings, but we're not. Having these conversations with other people, looking at how other people act, it shows it. But I'm not going to get upset about it. Upset, the word upset. You know, because most people are caught up in mindsets. You know, they want to set themselves. Go ahead, Naga. Hey, go ahead, Naga. Hi, Naga.
Salute, fam. Salute to the panel. What's going on with you guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Naga.
Yeah, man. What's going on this morning?
Yeah, what up, Naga? Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Just listening. See what they're talking about. So what the conversation is about. And hopefully I can tap in where I fit in.
Excuse me, sorry about that. Shouldn't have.
Hey, do do you guys think that the so-called indigenous people of North America is going to hell?
Well, I guess the question would be, Nego, what is, before I get
Huh?
into, uh, before getting into what culture would go anywhere, or in this case, where, what would we perceive as hell? Is this realm hell? Is it a lower dimensional realm? That's a possibility. A lot of people like
Well, I
to.
didn't mean hell in that sense.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about a religious hell.
No,
I'm talking about English hell.
well, that's
The
why I asked the
English,
question, what is hell? So you're telling me it's not one, but what is it then? Like, you think like Earth, or are we talking about
the English hell. I'm talking about English hell. HELD.
H?
How
Held. Oh, held. Okay,
yeah.
my apologies. Okay. So you're talking about the Aboriginal. So I know I've heard people talk about what they perceive or think an Aboriginal is. I guess my question was, how would it serve once you finally give a label to something? You know what I mean? Like, what I get energetically, some people are trying to say we were first. Okay, first to jump off the cliff, or last to observe that maybe you don't want to jump off the cliff. Well, like, how does that serve? Especially a lot of those conversations is to reinforce that they think or feel that they're the vessel, which it could be, which is fine. I said, okay, so maybe the Aboriginals were the first tribe here, but why were they put here? By who? Was there a lot of manipulation? This is kind of like say, well, I was the first one in line here. Oh, okay, so how does that serve? And
Yeah,
then
I killed that, thing that come that debate yesterday. People always talk about who was first and this and that. It really don't matter who was first, because it really come down to who belongs and who doesn't. Because if I went to work and I came back and there was a robber in my house, there was a thieves in my house, I really do not care if he was in the house first. If he got in the house before I did, it's my motherfucking house. So I'm finna call the cops on you. I'm finna get you out, on my own. So who's really, who came first really don't matter. And I think me and Charles, we talked about that too. How even when it comes to real estate, buying houses, you have multiple houses that have multiple owners. The first owner cannot come back, and claim that is his house. You know, if the house belonged to you and you sold it, and or you lost possession of it, if it's not in your possession, it don't belong to you. So you know, yeah, when we're talking about who was first, and who was second and all that, the conversation should really be, who belongs and who doesn't.
okay, so
Yeah,
the
it
people that are
turned
sharing
out.
that, go ahead.
Huh?
I'm just gonna say it turned out to be a disaster at one point, but anyway, go ahead, Dom.
So I'm going to pluck away at the word debate. So when you debate somebody, did that person change their views? Probably not. So the person that's going to have that, that beginner's mind is not going to debate with somebody. It'll be like playing basketball. Yes, we're going to play basketball. There's usually outcomes involved. Somebody says, I won today. I said, what did you win? Those 100 shots that you make, or the 4 baskets that you make? Because we're going to be doing this again tomorrow. That's the perpetual hamster wheel. That's what people do when they debate with themselves and with others. That debate's already going on within oneself. Somebody says, I'm this, and they make it sound like, oh, but I'm first. But they don't feel confident if that's why they have to cult up with other people. And then they meet somebody else that's,
Debate is a trick, though.
Sorry, guys.
Debating is tricking.
Who's it tricking?
It's tricking.
Who's it tricking? The other or oneself?
The challenger, whoever challenge, whoever to the debate is the one doing the tricking. Is the one with the rope, and and the bait is the one with the rope and the bait that's trying to catch a fish. He's trying to
Mhm,
he's trying to
mhm.
cut him something. So he
Okay.
would throw little things out there, to have you fall for it, trying to set you up, ask you a trick question, do all type of things. Debating is all about making, the next person look stupid. Like, look, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're talking about. And in reality, it's all a trick. It's the way I manipulate the conversation that make you look like you don't know what you're talking about,
It
or
could
you
be.
all that.
Could
So
be. But is he making somebody trick, or is it revealing the person that's doing the debating has already fallen themselves? Because if you're respecting another human being, you're going to hear them. You're not going to weigh in on that. Debate's more likes and dislikes, and it's really peddling one's opinion, which is fine. And if you're confident with your position and how you perceive things, and you're true, you don't have to explain that to other people. Only if they're asking, and even if they're going to ask, you got to make sure what's your position. Why? Because you could be clever. Most people that are debaters go from being smart to being clever. They rarely become wise. It comes out of your mouth that tells a lot about you. Trying to convince other people, that's more cult up shit. But hey, once you become aware of it, because I'm sharing it now with you, Naga, I'm not here to change you. I'm reading your energy. That's interesting. But that's all it is. You could turn around and say, Dom, I believe in dogs and cats should intermix. Interesting. What do you think of that? Now, opposed to me quickly saying something like, well, I don't agree with that, or I agree with that. That's why most people that are very insecure, masking with a false sense of security, or try to cult up. And as long as one person agrees with them, they go around peddling that shit. And that's all they're doing. They're peddling it. They're salespeople at that person. They're not there to serve. So, but if you're into selling things, you're doing a good job. Why? Because that's what you're peddling.
yeah,
Debating and
and that
masturbating is
is
better. Debating and masturbating is better done alone with the self. The self is the program. Stop making yourself run the house. The fact that you even came in here and you talked about Aboriginal, that tells me a lot about you. How does that serve? Anybody here actually, Charles, into Aboriginal? Could ask me, Dom, about Aboriginal. I'm thinking, okay, which one? Are we talking tribes? The ones that actually go around trying to argue about that shit, go entertain with them. We want to play basketball here, Charles. I'm Naga, and then by me, you come in here, so I want to play badminton. No problem, Charles. Naga, but can't you see clearly that we're talking something else? This is a clever game you play with yourself. Now you're going to probably do a lot of wordsmith now after I keep quiet, but that's on you.
I mean, I only brought it up because a lot of time, when we build on this platform, we don't really build,
What's
to
the
connect with
foundation,
each other.
Charles? Naga, what's the foundation first? Forget that nonsense shit about talking about building. What's your foundation? And built on that, that's yours. That's
Yeah,
fucking nonsense. That's nonsense talk. That's
yeah. The
children talking. I'm
foundation,
going to
the
build.
foundation, the foundation. Is once you have the foundation, you could build anything you want, and by having this platform is the foundation, right?
Okay.
By having this platform is the foundation for us to build and have a conversation. So the platform is there. We
What
just
are we
come and
building?
build like we do all the time. But I'm
What are we
talking about,
building?
huh?
Behaviors? What are we building? Behavior, personalities, or how we interpret things? Debating is
Uh,
another form of
characters,
building character. Bingo. There
characters,
you go. But that character will come when you're in those kind of conversations. Okay, so how did it serve me to argue with another human being today, Dom? It didn't. It just revealed over and over again you're not developed emotionally. Because if I'm developed emotionally, I wouldn't have to have these kind of conversations. For me, I probably wouldn't even be here. The fact that I'm here, I might do it consciously. I might actually be doing it unconsciously. So when I hear people say certain words, I go inwards because I'm a wordsmith. I love to hear words and then understand the energy behind it. Not just how to wield the basketball. Why do we have a basketball? And then they're not a person who says, I've been dribbling it for hundreds of times or whatever. I said, but where's basketball? They'll show me the object. I said, but where's basketball? Where's court? Most people are building on top of the illusion.
well, if we know these are words, if we know words is just words, we can't be looking for words. We have
But
to be
not just
looking for
words.
the things that words is describing.
I know,
Words is just words. They're describing things,
but there's
defining things.
energy behind it. There's energy behind it.
Yeah, it's the energy that define the things.
So then you're building with words, but yet people don't understand the energy. So they don't know the foundation of it. They don't know what they're wielding. Same with numbers.
You cannot. You
Same.
can't. You can't. I mean, you just.
I
That's
can't.
just
Or
jumping.
that
That's
just
just
shared.
jumping.
Naga, you
That's
hear your
just jumping
words?
out of nowhere.
Naga, did
That's
you hear
just
your
jumping
word?
out the. My bad. Go ahead.
Didn't you hear your words? Can't. Those are your words. Can't. Can't.
Yeah, you can't build. You can't. You can't just jump on a foundation and build without knowing, what the foundation is able to sustain. Right. If I don't know what the foundation is able to sustain, is most likely I'm going to break the foundation instead of building something. And a lot of time, that's what we end up doing.
Can't sounds like more of a applying towards doing opposed to just being
Huh?
aware. Can't is more about applying something opposed to just being aware. Being aware of energy. You don't have to do nothing with it. If you choose not to do nothing with it, most people just don't know they have those choices. They're more times than most people are just in reaction. I need to say something. He disrespected me. How did he disrespect you? That's scientific, by the way. How? And why do you think that person did it? Are they trying to help you? Are you trying to help yourself? I don't know. And even if you did know, how would you apply discernment to it? This is anchoring shit. When people go on and they start debating with each other, they're just anchoring that energy. They don't understand the energy they're anchoring. It's like using numbers, not understanding the energy.
They're
Go ahead.
frustrating, man. They're frustrating, but at the end of the day, it's like when people fighting. So debating is like a mental battle, right? But
Yeah,
it necessary because sometimes a fight is needed to show, to prove a point. Why we think animals do it?
you said the word.
Why do we think animals fight? Or why do we think animals debating? Animals be debating. They be going back and forth. Dogs be barking at each other. That's debating. That's arguing, right? And then they get into a fight. Other animals that we can't understand the language, they do the same thing. So it's debating and fighting is not something that's just only exclusive to human being.
Okay, when people try to prove points and they can't get their point convinced, then they start doing a thing called physical, called art, fighting with each other. It's not about proving points. It's about sharing points. There's so many fucking thousands and millions of points. And to somebody to prove a point, I said, take that fucking childlike fucking attitude, shove it up your ass. And I only do that out of pure giggles and kicks. I want to see the reaction. I could be around anybody physically and I look at them long enough, they'll have that little smirk. I said, you're doing this fucking consciously, you piece of shit. You're not interested in having a conversation. Most people are not interested in having a conversation. They're not interested in relating with each other. What they're trying to do is, I'm going to shoot that basketball.
Yeah, but some
And that
people you
hoop.
gotta debate them to have a conversation.
Okay.
Some people
And
you
there
just
is.
some people you just have to debate them. Some people it doesn't matter how you're trying to have a conversation with them. They don't they felt like qualified to have a conversation with them. They felt like they're so high up on their throne, and you can't have a regular conversation with them or qualify. So you have to challenge them and prove that I want to have a conversation with you and I can.
Naga?
You gotta challenge them, knock them off that high horse.
You can. Me and Naga right now. Naga, I'm just going to use you as an example. I call you, Naga, let's go have a nice peaceful, lunch today. So we go to some restaurant, we're going to have lunch and, peaceful, silent. All of a sudden we're there, we're chilling. And all of a sudden beside us, there's a couple and they're arguing with each other. Some people, not most people, are going to sit there long enough to realize, I want to see who's right or wrong. Opposed to Naga, I'm leaving. Why? I came here for a silent lunch. Now, somebody might turn and say, why is that, Dom? I said, I don't give a shit about who's right and wrong. That's what most people do in a debate. They forget you're in everybody else's environment and the shit that we do with each other. If I went to my friend's house and I started doing this kind of noise, he said, Dom, get the fuck out of here. We do this online because most people don't understand energy. You don't have to be in a person's physical presence to fuck over their energy. When people start backbiting with each other, they don't realize what that does to the heart, because blood
Well, I
goes to
think.
the heart.
Well, I beg the
No, go
differ,
ahead.
man. I think this is
That's
the
a
reason
given in
why.
my world, Naga. The fact that you just had to put that input tells me you're fucking trying to win an argument. With who? With me? You don't got a fucking clue who I am. I have my own experience. I'm just sharing out loud. None of the shit I say is debatable.
It's
None of
not.
it's
You
debatable,
don't have.
Naga.
Listen. You don't have to
Okay.
always see everything as a debate when somebody have an alternative.
Well, you did say
Alter.
you see it differently. Just share. To put that caveat tells me a lot about where you stand. You're being clever with yourself. You're just unaware of it.
Well, I mean, you're right to some degree. It show you where I stand. It show you where I agree and where I don't agree, and we don't have to agree 100%. Disagreement and agreement is nothing wrong with disagreement and agreement.
Okay,
It's
Naga.
natural. It's
Naga, I'm going to
natural.
share something with you. This is where I get frustrated. Naga, I see something right now, and I'm seeing with my senses. Can you see it through my senses?
No, it's your senses.
Okay, hold on. Let's go with that. Yes. So, what would you be agreeing or disagreeing when I say I see the sun? The word, the sound, the frequencies, or are you just making an assumption at that point?
No, I could just say I disagree. I see this.
But what? What are you disagreeing with? You're
I'm
not
dis.
seeing my senses. I'm sharing with you. The fact that you say you agree or disagree or it's right or wrong tells me your
No,
foundation is weak.
no.
You've been
It
so
tells.
indoctrinated, you're going around trying to use fucking
We
words
all
to explain your.
indoctrinated, bro. We all indoctrinated. Everybody
Again,
have.
saying that, I just
Everybody
said
have some
you.
level of
Why'd you throw
of.
everybody else under the bus? I said you at that moment. And I'm also projecting me.
I know, and that's why I see. That's why I just put everybody, right? That's why I put a circle, include everybody. So yeah, I'm saying the same thing that you're saying in a different way. It's okay for us to say things in our own way. Like I don't, you don't have to speak for me. What you say when you speak to your senses, when you describe, when you see something, when you observe, you don't have to do it for me. You don't have to go ahead and tell me that you observe the sun is in the sky. I don't have to go and look and see for myself, or I don't have to tell you that I see it too, or I don't see it. It don't have to be like that. I don't have to. People, we don't have to be quiet when other people talking, and people can just speak for us. We have a mouth for a reason. We have our own senses for a reason. It's to express ourselves. So life is about expression, man. So we just up here expressing ourselves. So what, somebody disagreeing with my expression? Okay, let me hear your expression. I might disagree with it too, or I might agree with it. It's not a problem. I mean, we don't always have to make a big deal. Like, people can't disagree. People, they just have to be quiet. They just have to share. They just have to do that. Do that. That's what we doing. We doing. You sharing through your experience. You expressing yourself. I'm doing the same thing too. It don't have. I think that's what I was saying earlier. I think that's what the problem. We become so weak-minded and physically weak to the point that where we can't even be prideful. We can't. We don't even have pride anymore. That's sad that we don't have pride anymore. Like, we can't accept a mental challenge. Imagine a
The
physical
spirit shattered
challenge.
people's pride, that's
Imagine
why.
imagine a physical challenge. It explained the
Well,
reason why
not,
so
not
many
just
people is dying today, because they're coward. Back then, people wouldn't die like that because people would stand up for themselves.
we gotta allow new horizons, like Axis said.
Yeah, man. I believe this is the reason why the world is so weak, man. It's so weak, and everybody, could just walk on. I mean, the one on top can just walk on everybody else, because those at the bottom refuse to stand up for themselves. Like, well, you have to stand up, nigga. Stand up.
Stand up like a tree. No,
Yeah.
seriously.
Stand down, you poor people.
Challenges is a sport. Life give you challenges. Naturally you get challenges, but we love challenges so much where we make a sport out of it. So I don't see the big deal, man, of having a challenge, of having a mental challenge. Somebody challenge your frame of thought, how you think. They're not challenging your thought, but they're challenging how you think, how you channeling your thought, how you putting it together. That's it.
Most sports are about outcomes, winning and losing, opposed to understanding the craft. You know, I'm going to regurgitate my wording of respect. Respect is to hear other people. When somebody says, I agree, I disagree, that's about them. So when I tell a story, or anybody tells a story, I'll hear them out. I'm not here to cast my judgment on them. But I get it. Most people have been conditioned with the concept of sports, outcomes, winning and losing, opposed to learning the craft and seeing it for what it is. It's like playing chess. If you have the ability to know how to play chess and you're playing somebody else's chess, the next challenge for you is, do you want to get better, or you just want to be stuck on outcomes? I won, I lost. This is
No,
where
if I
some people. Go
if
ahead,
you
Naga.
challenge, if I'm challenging you, you know, if you on a chess game, I'm playing my game. If I'm challenging
Yes,
you, I'm playing
I'm
my
I'm
game.
I'm okay with it. This is not about me projecting outwards. I'm talking about me. Obviously, when people they're revealing themselves, they're more about the out. I'm challenging somebody else. So then why don't you challenge nature? Why don't you go challenge that hurricane? If they're truly about outcomes, do people really want to challenge an animal? Yeah, get rid of that man-made device called a gun or a knife. Challenge it man to man, in this case, man to animal. They don't want that. They want the upper hand. That's cleverness at that point, which
When
is
you say
fine.
challenge nature, my challenges comes from nature, or my ability to challenge come from nature. So it would be silly to try to, you know, challenge nature. This is why I challenge the people that challenge nature, because my, you know, my ability to challenge came from nature.
Okay, now I'm going to say the color red, and then I'll just mute up, and then you can argue with the color red. Again, you're not really here to relate with other people. You're too busy trying to argue with people to prove a point, and it's actually exhausting with you. So carry on.
I mean, it's not exhausting with me. It's exhausting with the people that can't take the challenge, right? That's why people say this all the
Did
time.
you
Oh my
ask?
God, I can't take it.
Naga, did you ask? Honestly, did you actually come here today and say, listen, anybody here really want to have a one-to-one debate argument? Did you really ask that, or did you just cleverly slide in here, say what's up and all that kind of stuff? Come on, Naga. You're like you're 30 something going on 10.
Yeah,
And I
I
say
said
that
let me
this
ask something. I said let me
no,
ask
no, no,
something.
no.
And
I,
I and the thing that I said was strictly
you're
challenges
building.
to their
I'm going to tell you
hold
something. If
right,
nobody's
hold on
ever,
right quick. You asked me a question. You said, did I
no,
just
I
say
didn't ask you
something?
a question. And if I
Okay, go
did
ahead.
ask a question, I was being a moron.
Okay,
So at
go
this
ahead
point,
then.
Nega, I'm going to tell you something, Nega. You're going to constantly say the shit you're building, but I'm going to tell you heads up, you're building it on a fucking weak ass fucking piece of shit fucking foundation. Now you can live your existence, you can think you're the physical, you can live another 30 or 40 years, but at that point, you're going to be like your forefathers, asleep.
So since you're saying that I'm building on a shitty foundation, right? We so much confident. How about you go ahead and define what
Mm.
my
I'm off to
what
see
my
you
And
foundation?
later.
you've continued the cleverness. There you go. You never give the indication that you're really interested in hearing other people. You're going on with this rhetoric. The word that you keep saying all the time, I. Your forefathers failed you miserably, but you're doing it quite well on your own. Now, I'm just doing that to challenge you a little bit because I would want to see whether or not where you
I
are
know,
emotionally.
and the
I
challenge
personally
is
think you're
accepted.
numb, Naga.
And
I
the
think
challenge is
you're.
accepted. The
No, it's not
challenge is
accepted.
accepted.
I'm not. No, you challenge yourself. That's the
No,
punch you're
you
missing.
challenge. You just said that you challenging me. Now you said that the challenge is with myself.
Of course, because you're constantly waiting for somebody to attack you so you can have a purpose in life, which is fine, Naga.
And
Now I'm
I'm
doing
not
this. I'm
I'm not
doing this on
constantly.
purpose, Naga. Naga, I'm doing this on purpose.
All right. Then if the person know that I'm waiting for them to attack me, why attack it? Why attack me anyway?
No, because a lot of
Anyways,
times you're just noise. You just don't know it yet. But once you become aware of that noise, you might have some more discernment and realize, fuck, is that the shit I've been peddling? I can say that about myself. Can you say that about yourself? Can you truly say to yourself, you're a piece of shit?
yeah, I am. I'm a piece of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So then you're
I'm.
going to debate with other people to what? Convince them that they're eventually going to say that? Once people start realizing how they've misled themselves
Man,
majority of their lifespan.
you. Since you know me, you know I have no problem with debating. We throwing out the challenge or accepting the challenge, bro. So
Yes. Yes. I'm
Yeah.
purposely doing this. This is not my character, by the way. I'm not interested in debating, but I get it. We play sports. We can do that. If anything else, I'm usually the guy that's actually going to assist other people so they can be better at their game. That's fine. Outside of that, it's really of no interest to me. But for other people, obviously, it is. I'm hearing you, Naga. Now, I'm not the debater kind of person. I don't know. Maybe JG wants to do that. Maybe Charles. So like I said, I've stepped out of character right now here.
Well, I mean, you see like it looked like a debate, right? But it's not happening between me and Charles because the statement I made, Charles didn't felt like okay, he needed to answer to it, right? Or or bite into it, right? But you did. And I make sure I stirred it, I directed it towards, certain people that identify themselves in a certain way. So Charles didn't feel, he identified himself in that way, or he didn't feel like, that applied to him. So he just left it alone. But you answer, so I'm like, okay, so you must want to have this conversation. So go ahead, let's have it. Because
Okay.
I didn't just say it just to
Okay.
say it. I said it because I wanted to talk about it.
Most people aren't going to debate with each other that they've already aligned with their likes with each other. No different dislike. I do the opposite for pure giggles and kicks because I want to see whether or not other people can balance those two together within oneself. A person that truly can debate with themselves and realize how fruitless it is, eventually will not debate with others. It's usually the ones that don't know it's fruitless. So now, for me to have my likes, I have to bring in my dislikes. I don't need anybody else to entertain that with me. We can relate with each other. Oh, yeah, Dom, I have my struggles. I also have some of my ups and downs. What's your highs? What's your lows in any given moment? Now, somebody
Yeah,
that
bro.
purposely says, I don't agree
When
with.
I do these things, bro, I do these things, bro. It's a social experiment, bro. I do the same thing by myself. I challenge it. I challenge my thought, the way I think. You know how I came up with that. I sit by myself. I'm a loner, bro. I'm not always around people. I'm always by myself. So I do this the same shit I'm doing here on the panel. Battling thoughts and and ideas and ideology and that I do that with myself too. So
You're
when I
always at
come out in
war with
public,
yourself.
yeah, because the battle is within. The battle is within. Is within.
Yeah,
And
that's why I titled the video the title. That's
yeah,
today's topic.
yeah. So when I come out in public, and I get I ran into conflicts, right? That's what's going on within me. I'm aware of that. I deal with it, on my lonely time, and I also deal with it, with the multiple version of myself, because I know that everybody is still me, is a version of me. When you say you is me all the time, I said you is me all the time. You is me, me is you. So me having a conversation with or a debate, or a battle with whoever is with myself, is with myself. So again, I do this thing. I did this by myself. I don't just go ahead and listen to all my and agree with all my thoughts. If that's the case, I will have to agree with all my evil thoughts, right? And I will also have to act on them, right? Because I agree with it, right? No, I don't agree with my evil thoughts. I have to debate, my evil thought, debunk my evil thought, and convince, myself why I shouldn't, agree with this evil thought. Why it doesn't make sense.
So, Naga, can I ask? Because we have been hearing words. When somebody's arguing with the self, what is the self and who's the one that's arguing with it?
You say what does it do?
No. Who is, when, because I heard you say, who's the self and who's arguing with it?
Yeah, who's the inner voice?
Yeah. Who's the inner voice? And what are thoughts? Thoughts are things. So when you speak or you write things, that's afterthoughts. You don't have to speak at all if you're actually with thoughts.
Now let me
And
ask you a
silence.
question.
No,
Let
no,
me
no.
answer
I've
the
already.
question. I know it's rhetorical. I
Go
know
ahead,
it's
please.
rhetorical. I know it's rhetorical, but I want to answer it. So who's speaking and who's answering is the different version of myself.
Okay. So you think that's one then? Okay. Good enough.
Yeah, all the different version of myself come together to create me.
Okay. Good enough. I have a different view on that, but That's why I'm not going to debate you on it, because I've heard you and I respect that. That's what you think. You're one.
Yeah, I think everything that exists is me. Even the trees. The trees is me. The animals is me. You know, everything is me. I'm everything. Yeah, ain't no way around me. That's how I'm looking at it. Ain't no way around me. That's why I say even you is me. You say you said to yourself you refer to yourself as you and you refer to yourself as me.
No, ask you. Don't put me in there. You can ask me, but you don't put me in your little whatever you're doing right now. I'm just respect.
I mean, I know it. I just know. I just know that everybody, all the version of me refer to me, and all the version of you refer to you. I just know that. I don't have to ask that. You know, I could ask it to to be rhetorical, but I just know I know it. So when the things that I know, I speak on these things with conviction, right? And the things that I don't know, I speak with it, as my belief. So I don't think everybody or you refer to yourself as me, but I know you do.
Have you
Because
ever
I know when
discerned to that?
somebody, I know if somebody is talking to you and you go in to ask them who you talking to, you talking to me, right? If
Have you?
somebody if somebody is talking, if three of us is standing right now, right there, and somebody says something, right? You going to look at them and ask them if they're talking to you.
Okay, so I had asked earlier, just to, because now this is how somebody goes beyond knowing, discernment. When I had asked earlier, when I see the sun or something like that, can you see my senses? You said no. So now you've just kind of backtracked and you said you know everything. That's knowledge, know it all. So discernment would be wisdom and understanding. So the child is knowledge. To know thing is one thing. Me and you both can hear somebody speaking a language and somebody tells me that's Sanskrit. I know of it. Doesn't mean I understand it. I might be able to apply discernment saying I know the difference, what I can speak and what I'm hearing. So okay, so when I had asked what is the self, okay, usually a wise person would know enough to ask the other person back. Since I've asked the question, I should respond to it. But hey, you always want to make sure you're in the first. That's the winning and losing mentality. I got to be the first one to jump off the cliff. I've got to be the first one to dunk a basketball. That's the ego being led, always leading first. The ego, the I, but then there's the matrix, the self. For me, I'm going
Well,
to
you're
share
looking
more
at it,
about. Mhm.
like I said, I kid this conversation. You're looking at it as first and first, second, third, and last. I'm looking at
No,
it
no,
as
I'm giving you
I'm looking at it
examples.
as I'm looking
I'm
at it
giving.
as I'm looking at it as who's supposed to. Who's supposed to? I have the mic, so I'm supposed to be speaking. I'm
Okay.
supposed to be doing, saying what I'm saying right now. Ain't
So when you're
nobody else
hearing it,
supposed.
when you're
What?
hearing others, when you're hearing others, are you listening from within, and to who and to what? Know thyself is a good start, by the way, Naga. The knower in the self. It's a good start. Most people just stay there for a while, a couple lifespans. So are you going to apply discernment to it?
Am I
How
going
do you,
to?
we
Am I
have
going to
air.
what?
We have air. Okay, wait, hold on. We have air. Do you see air? Some people have that ability, but let's say you don't see air. So how do you know what cause and effect is then? You're seeing the effect. See, that's more indoctrination. Everything that we're talking about right now is indoctrination. So to know something is about really talking about indoctrination. I've been indoctrinated. The word in gives it away. No different. You could be insightful, intuitive, intelligent. But for most people, they're being led by outside. That's why most people think they're the physical skin. Their physical skin. They'll even go around bastardizing the word by saying I'm black or white, where it clearly shows if we're going to categorize colors, we're neither black nor white. Now I know some people can use the word black and white for magic, the unknown and the known. This is discernment now. This is where you leave the people from belief systems and knowledge. But hey, you want to hang out there for a while? Hey, enjoy it all that. But to have conversation with other people when you know silence is golden. This is where we become the student teacher from within. I'm breaking my silence right now by talking because I'm sharing awareness. I'm not trying to share with people answers. I'm not sharing with people what's right and wrong. Obviously, you're doing that, and I thank you. I've been there, so I'm still there. But I don't
I'm
always.
doing I'm doing I'm doing everything though. I'm doing it in all way. I never look
Okay.
at things like how human beings, look at things, as an individual thing. I always look at things as a collective. So I'm not only doing what you say I'm doing, but I'm also doing what you're doing. You just don't see it because you're so focused, right? Focus is to zoom in. When you focus on one thing, you can't see other things.
You know we're
So
projectors, right? Hold on, Nega.
because you
You know
focus.
you're a projector, right? Hold on. You know you're a projector. Everything that you're saying about others, you're revealing you first.
Exactly. Yes, I'm speaking from experience. That's how I know.
Okay, but are you speaking from observation?
I'm speaking from experience.
Okay, good enough.
I'm speaking from experience. So of course, observation come with experience, right?
Which one
So
are you truly? Which one are you? The experiencer or the observer?
observing come with experience.
Okay.
You see, you saying that I'm the one that was on weak. That was you saying that I'm focused on being first, but it's clearly that you're trying to put, you know, observing, uh, uh, or observing in a experience over the other
I
or
just, I
before
just,
the other.
I just shared out loud, Charles. Well, how you perceive it and how you interpret it, that's on you. So if you think you're experienced or observer, I just threw something else into the ring. We're playing basketball, and I've decided to throw something onto the court now. I threw a cat on the court. Maybe next time I'll throw a dog on it. Most people play by rules. So if you're actually don't have what's called a beginner's mind, you'll be able to receive all kinds of information. But for a lot of people,
It's
they
not.
don't
It's
realize.
not.
Mhm.
I hear what you're saying,
That's it.
but
Thank you.
what I'm saying, or is that
You're sputtering right there. Naga. At that
everything
point, silence would
physical,
serve you. You're sputtering right
everything.
now. You say you
Yes,
hear me, but yet you're quickly going in towards. You're not going to say it in
I'm
words, but you're going
saying.
to say what you disagree with. Naga, at that
No, I'm
point,
going to I'm going to say what I'm saying, not what I'm disagreeing with. I'm going to say what
no,
I'm
but you
saying.
are. You also have to have a caveat on it.
No, I have my own mind. That's what I have.
Do you, or do you have
My
a
own
brain and you use the
senses.
mind, or do you have a
My
brain and
own
you
mind.
use the
My own
mind? Okay,
senses.
good enough. You have your own. Are they yours? Do you want all the
All right. So
senses? Hmm.
so so you
Naga,
so
I'm challenging your words. I'm challenging words, not even your words, but you clearly show that you think you're those things, which is
yeah,
fine.
but I hear the challenge though, but I could pass them because
The
not
challenge should be
only
from within. Naga,
yeah.
this is a game we're playing with each other right now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Well, it's more so I want to, but you more like, okay, should I play? Should I not play? I'm not really a gamer like that. I know how to play, but I'm not really a gamer like that. I don't be playing like that. So, I'm gonna be serious. But me, I'm like, nah, let's play, bro. I came to play. At
But
the
do you think I'm
end,
playing the game? Do you think I'm playing the game for an outcome?
I mean, people do not. It's nothing. Everything has an outcome.
But is there hence like degrees? What degree are we going to play with? Limited 33 or 360 degrees? Which one? And then each one have their own degrees within each other. There's different parts to all types of outcomes. So, well, what are the parts? This is where we
You
can share with
see,
each
see,
other.
see, you have that witch mindset.
Hmm.
See, you have that witch mindset.
It's a
This or that,
mindset.
this or that, this over that.
Hmm.
But
I got.
you saying, but you pushing it on me, like you're making it
I'm not
seems
pushing
like
nothing on you, Nega. I'm not pushing
you're
nothing
making
on
it
you.
you're making
That
it
can only
seems
be
like
already because it's in you.
now.
Nega,
Listen though,
you're
listen
playing
though.
this
I'm not
game.
backing down, of no tree. You know what I'm saying? I'm not backing up saying that I'm not doing that though. But it's just the fact that you pointing it out, to making it look like in a way that you're not
No,
doing it.
no
Like the things that
arguments.
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, don't let this lead to arguments.
Nah, it's not an argument. I mean, I could tell, by the way, Dom is speaking, he's irritated. It can turn into an argument, he's frustrating, but It ain't nothing like that with me. Cause shit, like I said, man, this is me. I challenges. Listen, I embrace challenges, and I don't shy away. I don't shy away from challenges. I embrace challenges, and I also go and seek out challenges, because that's the only way you're going to be successful in life, and in or in the matrix. Period. So because life itself naturally come with challenges, and the matrix complicated that matter. So when we're in the matrix, and we shine away from challenges, this is the reason why we at the bottom, because those at the top is challenging us, right, to to rise, and we refuse to accept the challenge. Yeah, so it ain't gonna turn into an argument with me. When I say an argument, like where we going to be, you're gonna get nasty or whatever the case may be. I think people will see a debate like an argument or whatever the case may be. But to me, it's not even a debate. It's not even an argument. It's just we having a back and forth conversation. But what I was saying is that
Trying to find these two characters in the movie Nine. Um, it's real like his Candy was talking about the eyes taking in the light like a mirror and then projecting out. Um, and in the movie Nine, there's these two little twins, numbers 3 and 4, and he projects out his eyeballs like um anything, movie clips, books. I
Yeah, that's
think
what we do.
there's nine numbers, and I think each number in the movie has something esoteric about it.
Yeah, it was a different angles, of the projection of the projector. Each one of them is like the sun in all the rays, in all the different rays. So each rays is the angle of the sun, or light. So it's the same thing with the numbers, or with with the movie that you're talking about. That's how
Like
we see it.
number number one, he has the dunce cap with the he looks like a pope. I showed the pictures before. He has his cane, the scepter. He's got his dunce cap. He's got the medallion, and he's number one. And he's a masculine. He's older with wisdom, and he's very like masculine. He's very in control, like the
Yeah, the
boss.
number one. The number one is the one that see everything, right, from the beginning to the end, because he was the first one. That's why everybody wanna be first, or everybody have a problem with people that's first, because they know they see the whole thing.
I don't know. I, if it is true, which you know how True Son sees it, I got no problems with it, man. You know, what's the truth's the truth, and if that's the way it is, I can't change it, but I respect it for sure.
Yeah, is go both ways. The last one too see everything too. And the one and those in between see everything too, though. But it's it's just that for example, looking at a dot and a zero is the same thing. A dot, number one, and a zero is the same thing. So if you're looking at a number one from a top view, it look like a zero, right? If you're looking at it, from a bottom view, right, it look like a circle. And if you're looking at it, from the middle part, it look like a one. You could see the whole thing, how tall it is. So is angles, is the position of the thing. So all the numbers is the same thing. They're telling the same story, but they're telling it. They give you a different angles of the story. But I want to find a way to integrate, the hell, in a general way. So do you feel like the people of the United States is going to hell? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all could answer that. Anybody could answer it. So I don't want to, put it, towards Aboriginal, so people feel like okay they can't answer. I want see it, make it a
It's a
way, anybody could talk about it.
tough subject. Um, People get offended. Um, I mean, I couldn't imagine fucking. I'm gonna play a short video about genetic manipulation in a minute. And this could be factual, man. Like, I don't just look at things in the way I want to look at them because it makes me feel good. Reality is reality, man. And you gotta fucking handle that shit head on. Don't bullshit and try to run or escape. If something's after you, face that shit, uppercut it. But no, seriously. We could have all been genetically made in a lab, including dark, light, it don't matter. Um, I, that's what I wanted to people have information, but they got to question where the information is coming from.
Look, what I'm saying is that, right, the earth is bringing in uh 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 a new energy, right, vibration and frequency, right, and what I'm saying is that the United States will be the last one, will be the last one to benefit from this from that energy. That's what I mean when I say they're going to hell. The United States is going to hell. Because they're going to be held back. From benefiting from this energy, because they were the first one to benefit from this energy that we're in right now. So they're gonna be held back. They're gonna be the last one. This is why people don't care about telling y'all what's going on. Don't care about including y'all in what's going on.
Most people just don't care, period. That's fine.
Or maybe they don't know how to care, Charles. Or maybe they don't know how to care. Or maybe they don't know how to care.
That is true.
We say words, people say the word God, they'll say Satan, I care, I don't care. Usually they're serving the self in some way. But again, this is where people, once you understand energy, a person can say something, but if you understand energy and you can read it, you realize they're not mixing. That's why people can be clever. I don't care. That's not the energy I'm reading. Well, but I care. No, that's not the energy I'm reading. I'm reading you don't know how to care. The fact that you have to say it out loud tells me that. Again, silence is golden. The silver part and bronze part is when you speak or you write things down. You know, and what comes with speech is frequencies. Once you understand frequencies, now you can understand how it affects the liquids. This is why silence is golden, because in the old days, or even today, some people know to consume gold. And once you consume gold, you can go into silence, you can download a shitload of information. This is why they use gold in all kinds of computers. Now we can talk about other liquids, blood, urine, water, silver. They all play a role. Think about water. It can shapeshift. You know, again, this is where old teachers or people that used to teach say, I need to fast and meditate. Abstain from eating because your vessel called the ego, the I, needs to shut down a little bit because it'll start processing all of that. And then you need to meditate. You need to listen from within. This is why when people say, peace be upon you, silence be upon you, because that fucking noise coming out of you right now, I'm reading till no end. But most people don't want to go beyond know thyself. Who's the knower in the soul? The self, because then you realize there's the observer and then the observed. And then you become a realize, oh, I'm in an objective realm. Yeah, Dom, you don't see tree. You don't see water. You don't see the words you share, hence thoughts. Thoughts is what's called the language of consciousness. When we speak, it affects the avatar because we have liquids. This is why people understand that the heart has blood flowing to it. Most people don't realize you communicate with the mind through the midbrain, not the upper brain. That's where scholars and scribes do. That's where the concept of the king and queen set. Hence why it's the world of a stage. You're in the illusion. You're in the play. What script are you going to be handed? How are you going to express emotions? Because you don't see emotions. You express them. So what does anger look like outside of the physical connotation? What does that energy truly look like? What does air look like? Most people see the effect. You'll see a leaf moving. That doesn't mean you see air. We breathe it constantly. It's unconditional. That's called energy. Same with the concept of truth. It's energy. Once you realize what the truth is, then you must know all the deceptions that you've always been playing with. Words are deceptions, especially when you
Yeah,
write it
to me,
down.
all of that is in the answer, knowing thyself. You know, because by knowing myself, I get to know the wind, I get to know emotions, I get to know anger, I get to know death, I get to know life, what happy, I get to know what everything is by getting to know thyself, by getting to know what it means to to know thyself. Because to me, I feel like I've seen what emotion is. I've seen people, I've seen emotion manifested through people. I've seen happiness manifested through people, right? I've seen death manifested through people and take other people's lives. So I don't know, uh, 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 to what extent, when we're talking about we don't see certain things or we don't know certain things. I don't know to what extent we're talking about, but I feel like like I said, I have a mind of all of the above, so I could see how something emotional can play on the physical, or can manifest physically, or something spiritual manifest physically. I don't know. So
Well, we do say where we're at. So when I do hear somebody say, I don't know, what comes to me usually, but let's say they did know, how would they apply discernment to it? Knowledge is a good start. Hence, excuse me, hence know thyself. Who's the self and who's the knower? That'll be like me talking to Siri, and Siri says, okay, I'm the program Dom. Okay, well, other people would use the word self or matrix. So then what is the knower? The knower is actually the computer. This is where we talk about the ego. But you're not those things. Those are both programs in today's lingual. In the past, they would have called it demons, daemons, angels, whatever. So now, once you realize who's the knower and who's the self, now the question is, who's the one that's been actually observing all those things? This is why we're always the observer. So now, when we speak, each word, each letter, each symbol is its own experience. But we're always the observer of those things. because we're always in silence, in darkness. Now we come to the forefront. This is where people play with the concept of subconscious versus the conscious mind. The subconscious, when we go into a sleep state, because most people don't practice it in a conscious state. This is why it's called conscious ignorance, Walking Dead ideal. So now the subconscious is the one that's always there, observing everything. This is why when somebody gets mugged, I didn't see it consciously, but subconsciously, if they channel it, I can describe it to no end. So this is why when you're in the sleep state again, you're in that thing called stillness and silence. Some people, we'll think about some people in India, they actually practice that when they're in the conscious state, but they're still in a sleep state. So now once you realize that, and that's why some people, most information is better taken through a podcast or whatever they want to do it, when they're in the subconscious, because it can take way more information. The conscious state, once you wake up, that's conscious state. Now you're in the waking state with your senses. The senses could easily be misled. It's an easy one thing. 101, you say, okay, I see salt. Actually, not salt. I taste salt. And then somebody says, yeah, but your first impression has misled you. Why? Because this is not salt. I've just manipulated to taste like salt. Same by looking at a hologram. You could put 3 moons up there. Well, then what's the original moon? It's an image, hence the image of God called man, mint, mind. Anytime you hear the word mint behind it, that's the mind. Entertainment, amusement, settlement, argument. Again, we're using an English language that has a meaningful connotation to it. We're not using Greek, which is a comprehension language, Sanskrit, which is a healing language. For most people, by me sharing this information in the age of information, you're becoming knowledgeable of it. You might not have understanding and discernment. Okay, what do I do with that, Dom? That's a person that's going to be aware. So how does this serve me to argue with another human being? Well, Dom, you're going to test your own emotions. You're going to show that you're frustrated. This is me talking to me. I don't play around with channels. I'm a channeler. Some people are mystics. Some people are shamans. Some people are wizards. Some people are just scientists. Okay, so they're trying to figure out all the hows. People that are philosophers trying to figure out all the whys. Now, that's a lot of information. But for most people, they've never truly engaged in having that open, receptive mind and say, Dom, you could learn all languages if you wanted to. But I learned limited languages, numbers, colors, body language is another language. You know, again, those are all indoctrination. It's not a bad thing. It's just indoctrination. And then we become set in those ways. Dare not try to learn another language. For a lot of us, it's a challenge. So that tells you when we hear each other. Then what people do is they'll argue. Like, how can you argue with another person if they're speaking French to you? And you don't know what French is. Unless you understand body language. If you're in their presence, you know they're actually resisting something. That's what usually debating is all about. Resistance, and the other person is attached to a shitload of stuff, hence suffering. Now, I'm just using work. Go ahead.
This show me.
Hey, what's up, Truth Zone?
This showed me, a lot of things, why people, don't indulge in certain things, that have to deal with the mind. Because, we have that part of our body, where things that doesn't serve the body or things that doesn't, because we have the observer, we have the observer, we have the thing that serves the body, we have things that serve the mind, things that serve the spirit. We have servers, right?
Mhm.
Observers. We have observers, or we have observers, right? Thing that serves us. And also we have things that don't serve us that we store somewhere, in order to protect, in order to protect the body, from what's serving us. It's like bacteria, right? So I think, people using, that part of them, to in order to and I think some people know it. They know they're doing it, but some people just don't know they're doing it, and they're just doing it, by default. Like how the body can just go into protective mode or into defense, and you just realizing that you're defending yourself, not knowing that, uh not even recognize what their threat is. So I think that's what it is. Some people know that they using the bacteria in their body, or it could be the negative side of themselves, and other to protect and preserve, the good that they have. They just bring out the other side, and they're thinking that they're doing something good for other people, but instead they're doing something good for themselves. That what I agree with dominant, about people doing things to serving themselves, and when thinking that they helping or serving others, uh because the senses, when something went through my senses, you know it left for interpretation. It left, like if something went through my senses, I would have to interpret to somebody, what it is. But in the mind, the person can see it for themselves. This is why when we talk to people, we get to know people, right? We
What the
get in
fuck
their
is going
mind.
on, dude?
I don't know who got that background. But yeah, this is why when we meet people, we get to know people. We get to know what their mind is about, where they stand, what they're about, you know, and and that's when we truly know them, you know. But when people is basically telling you who they are through their senses, you can tell that they're not open with you, they're being protective. For example, if you're talking to a girl that's been traumatized by a guy, you can talk to her and see how she's not being comfortable. Like, she's talking to you, but she's not very open. She's not letting you in. You know what I'm saying? She's giving you very dry answers. She's giving you very short answers. you know she's not going in details and all that. So you're looking at her like, damn, like, somebody probably did something to her. So you're trying to be patient with her, you know. And then you get that girl that she ain't been with that type of man. You know what I'm saying? She ain't got no trauma, no nothing. She just lets you know exactly what's in her mind, what's going on, and you're like, damn, like, and you felt like that person for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And you probably known that person for like, a month or a week. So I think that's what we're doing with this knowledge, on a conscious level. On a conscious level, we're not trying to let people know what's going on in our mind, because we feel like people know us. So we're just trying to, uh uh interpret. We're trying to interpret, what's going on in our mind. We don't let them in. It's like somebody tell me, knocking on my door, and they ask me, "Hey, bro, what you got inside the house?" And you close the door and you step outside and you let them know, "Oh yeah, I got a fridge, I got this, I got that." The whole time you could just "Oh yeah, come in." You open the door, you let them in. But you open the door and you step out, and then you start to explain to them what you got inside of your house. When you could have just showed them you could have just give them a tour.
It's
That's
all
why I think
about
people.
looking
That's
within.
why I think people avoiding debate, arguments, and things. So
Sometimes you can't avoid arguments.
you're
What's good?
breaking up.
What's good, panel? What's good, everybody? What's good? What's good?
Salute, true.
I don't. Now you saying you? I want all the smoke, man. That's how I am, man. Uh, hope everybody doing good though, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, 100, man.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you here, because I was asking a question. Nobody really
A
want
lot
to
of
answer.
times, some subjects are either people take it wrong, and then it leads to um feelings, and when that
Right,
happens, like,
right,
instead of them stepping out of their feelings and taking a look
But
at stuff. I used to get in my feelings a lot too. But I learned from a lot of that by analyzing myself and realizing,
yeah.
um, like
It's
for
either you
instance,
or
I'll say when black people say, it's the white man. I know they're not speaking on me. Some are. Some
nah.
blame all, but
Yeah,
You
you can only
Charles,
give a lot.
man, you ain't been nothing but 100. You a good. You want? I was gonna say you one of us, man. You ain't been nothing. You ain't been nothing but 100. It's so when I talk, I take pride in what who I am, man. So I know it's about going within. It starts with me first. It starts with us first. But some people take it literal. Some people get in their emotions when we talk about these things. These are deep topics to talk on, but they need to be spoken on. You either stand for something, you stand for something, or fall for anything. So I stand like what they say, stand on business. I stand on this. I stand on us being Aborigines. I don't keep talking about this shit, but I just stand on us being Aborigines, man. I stand on that. You know.
Yeah, now I could ask you the question. In the Do you think
now
that
let's stick on the topic, man, about going within. I mean, you could ask them the question, but after that,
Yeah,
I don't want to
I ain't gonna
steer
talk too much
away
on
and
today.
then go into the same
Yeah,
stuff as just.
yeah, because that would Naga, what you was gonna ask me, bro?
uh and you could just and you just give however you answer, we don't I don't have to go in and back and forth. We could just go straight right back to the topic.
Yeah.
uh do you feel like the indigenous people of North America, aka the Aboriginal, do you feel like they are going to hell, meaning that they are going to hell back, from uh uh benefiting from this new energy that's the earth is bringing?
No, we won't. No, we won't be held back from benefiting because so I'm saying. See, I won't keep saying I don't want to say it the way I want to say it, but Aborigine, that the etymology for I did some research, man. After I got offline yesterday, the etymology for Aborigine means first people. So if we first people were here on this plane of existence, that means we was the first. We used to first. We one with the cosmos. So yeah, we'll benefit from it. If you got nine, especially if you got non-ether gas in your physiology. That's what I'm saying. People don't study neurology. They don't study biology. They don't study They don't study chemists. They don't study none of these things. People just go off their feelings. I actually study this stuff. So yeah, we're gonna benefit from the energies because we one with the cosmos, one with the ether. So yeah, of course. All you gotta do is go outside and ground. That's anybody. You can just go outside and ground because this place is constantly being bombarded with gamma ray energy, different UV energies, different cosmic particles. So yeah, anybody can benefit from it. But well,
Yeah,
definitely
I'm not saying that if they are going to. I'm saying that, or do you feel like they're going to be held back from benefiting from it? Like, meaning that they're going to be the last ones. Since they
no.
were the first one.
It's
The first shall
I
be the
think it's
last.
more. I think it's more about how you take care of yourself spiritually, physically, and mentally. So if you eating, taking in a bunch of bullshit, no, you're not gonna be able to benefit from it. If you're not taking care of yourself mentally and spiritually, nah. But if you in alignment with the cosmos and you in alignment with yourself and you doing shadow work, yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, you ain't even got to be doing all that, but yeah, anybody can. But if you got nine, yeah, you got to think. I won't keep talking about this. We're gonna move on. It's genetics, man. So yeah, sure.
So know that, guys, unless people are going to entertain the idea of reincarnation, the original people, without breaking down the word people, let alone time, within the people that are talking now, then you're the ancestors. You're the offsprings of the offspring. So you can't declare, not you guys, but they can't even declare that they're the original. They're the offsprings, maybe. Now, at that point, now, if they value the concept of reincarnation, now we're talking about the blood of the ancestors. Were we actually the first ones down here? Now, this is where it gets kind of foggy. Where did you come down in a certain form? whether it's dark skin or light skin. At that point, how does it serve in the year 2024? Again, those are just conversation people do because they figure if I can claim I'm the first one, what, now you're going to play that you own the land? That's very erroneous. Nobody owns the land. Animals do not own the land. The plants do not own the land. Again, that is an indoctrinated way of thinking. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's indoctrinated. So I get it. We're going to use the English language to define what Aboriginal is. And this is where people get on. It's like, okay, I was the first one that got beat up. Okay, so how does that serve you? I was the first one to doing the hitting. How does that serve you? You know, again, this is where people have to use discernment, and that's usually done in wisdom, hence discernment, care, understanding. That's another part of it. Or how does it serve? For most people, they're not going to be honest with themselves. They're not going to be honest with the program. So they'll just regurgitate, and then they're so desperate looking to cult up with other people. You should be able to stand on your own. Go ahead.
Let me say this. I'm not with the first thing, you know, who was first, but I made it clear that, you know, I'm you know, standing on who, you know, it belonged to, who, what is belong to who. I'm saying what is belong to who. So
this goes. Go ahead.
So when it comes to the earth, you know, obviously it gotta be some type of benefit, you know, in saying that, you know, we own it, because how the hell these people ruling it? If they don't feel like they own the earth, they
the
have
rulers.
some type of authority.
Listen, Nega, listen to the word that you just said. Rulers, not owners. This goes back. So give me a second, TZ. Go ahead.
Yeah, right quick. I'm gonna pass it right quick.
Okay.
So how, you know, if they don't feel like they have some type of authority, you know, how how else they will be ruling. And of course, you know, I've said, like I said earlier, when we're dealing with the physical, we're dealing with rulership, because the physical is being ruled by the spiritual.
Yep.
Right? It's being ruled by the mental. So when we're dealing with the physical, we're dealing with, you know, with rulership. So the people that's ruling right now, obviously they felt like they have some authority, you know, that come directly from God, that come directly from, you know, basically what's ruling the earth.
What is
Under a bridge. Now look, remember I was showing you all these little things, these little
yeah,
whirling shells. What are they called? Snails. They look like baby snails. Look at this shit. There are thousands of them.
Sweet. They're migrating. They
look like roaches. I thought they was roaches for a minute.
Oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. They're everywhere.
Yeah, it probably the environment that created them. You know, it's like water, like, you know, like still water can create certain animals. You know, so it's like certain cold area creates certain type of bugs and shit and little, you know, animals and shit. So it could be that area.
Nega, we're in a realm called the spiritual and the material. So good and evil. You know, so the material world is being fueled by the spiritual world. One's mortal, one's immortal, meaning it lasts longer. So now, when they have rulership, they're not ruling over just the physical dimension. They're also ruling over the mental and emotional. Now, when I say rulers, there is rulers here. Now, what you have is middle management. We'll call them the elites. They're middle management. This realm is already being ruled. So this is the deception, thinking that you can own this realm. Clearly shows if a person turns around and says, listen, Dom, are you stewarding your vessel? No, not really. So then how would you be able to steward the land? Now, to steward the land, you have to understand things such as how does the sun and the moon work? Where it has to be? This is where we have the concept of the tree of life. Understanding, what are you standing under? The mind. Everything that we do here, say, rap, whatever you want to call it, it stays here. This is why when we come back, we have to relearn how to speak a language, how to understand emotions. You're in the spiritual and material realm. That's one. even though we play the game of duality. That's why the energy of number 9 is actually the spiritual meeting the material. Number 8 is actually the material number. Number 7 is the spiritual number. This is why the Asian culture, they love the number 8 because they want to be more material, but they despise the number 4 because number 4 is the energy called time. These are energies, but most of us have been indoctrinated. So we worry about, okay, so I'm the first one here. Yeah, you're the first one to be manipulated in these forms. That's why we have a concept called we're living beings in material forms or forms, whether it's an insect, whether it's a water driplet. If you truly understand how this technology is revealing it, such as you can get a really small chip and download all kinds of energy and information in it. So to actually see an ant, you're seeing technology advance. We're in a mid-advancement. It's called human form.
Hey,
Now,
Dom, I don't want to cut you off, bro. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, though, man. See, I don't know, like, cause ignorant means somebody that don't like taking on new information and new wisdom. So that's a form of ignorance. So, when I like on my channel, I don't catch backlash or any type of flack when I do these type of videos. When I do videos on the Aboriginals, because that's I do majority of those type of videos on my channel, so I don't catch that much backlash. But it just seems like when I talk about these things to certain people, it's not a shot at no one. I say first and first, it's just it is what it is. It's like other people they get butt hurt. I mean, you can just tell. Like I'm thinking, I think to myself like, okay, what if it was the other way around? You know, what if it was the other way around? How would they? Because I don't like talking about this stuff all the time. 'Cause I got a channel for that, but it's just weird to me. Like,
well, you
Hey,
say it's
bro,
the other way around.
put your channel in the back chat, bro, so I could go ahead and subscribe.
At that point, go ahead.
I think you subscribed to my channel the other day, Naga. I think that was you, because you got a lot of streams and on your channel, right?
Yeah, got some
Yeah, that was you. Yeah, I got a lot of that stuff on my channel. I don't catch backlash. It's just
so let's reverse that now.
Like,
hold on, that's easy. Let's reverse it now. See what the behavior and programs running behind all of that. This is why it's called conscious ignorance. When people get into their waking state, most people have never truly developed it. They don't have a beginner's mind, so they're technically called conscious ignorant. Most of us are speaking right now that way, and it's called the Walking Dead. So now, if you reverse that process and somebody else says, we were the first one, it would reveal the other person they're caught up in their likes and dislikes. If a person truly hurt another human being, hence the word respect, means to hear another person. You're not supposed to judge after you hear it. You just hear it. So, oh, that's interesting. You think you're the first one here. Then if you're channeling, is okay, so how does that serve you knowing that you're the first one? Because that's knowledge now. What's the discernment? So what does it serve to know that a long time ago we did or didn't go to the moon? See, I'm using the word did or didn't. Most people are going to say one or the other. This is how you get people with their behaviors. You see the glass half full, half empty. At that point, keep quiet and say, okay, let's see where they're at. They'll say it's half full. I said, nah, that's a problem. You're going with duality. No different telling somebody, do you see the sun and the moon? What is the sun and the moon? Again, this is all indoctrination. The fact that we're speaking, we're in the indoctrination. So now when you talk about channels, you should be talking about channeling information. To have a channel is to regurgitate information. That's all that is. If people truly understood energy, they would realize, then why am I in the lower energy by talking and speaking? That's why it's called afterthoughts.
And it messes with people's cognitive dissonances. Because
Sure
when I mention these things, it's like if you got a glass already full and you think you know what you know already, and you dead set on what you know and what you've been programmed with by the program, and you've been institutionalized, and you had some type. And I do believe it's white supremacy too. People might not come out and say it, but it's a form of white supremacy holding on to that belief system, that thought process. So if I come along.
You use the word you use the word white. At that point, TZ, you're back into the cognitive ignorance. Human beings are not white or black.
Right, I know that. I know
that's been programmed in you.
Right. I know that. Black and white's not a place, person, or thing. Those are misnomers. Those are titles. I know that, but I gotta say certain.
Black and white's actually for the. Hold on. Black and white's you use for the unknown and known. That's called magic.
Right.
Again, TZ, hold on. The fact that you're right now already trying to rush into your ongoing program tells me more about you than you know about yourself at that point. So now this is where you tell a child, you see the glass half full and half empty. You're hoping to hear a child, can I talk about the table? Yes, you can. Can I talk about what's in the glass, yes, you can. Don, what happened if I told you I don't actually see the words I'm speaking? I said, you're a fucking wise child. The rest of them are going to take either one or the other. That's a dumbed down human being. Right now, when you talk about black and white, when your skin clearly shows you're either dark skin or light skin, and if you're around a European that actually gets a tan, he can actually be more darker than a Barbados person. Again, that just proves it otherwise. That tells me that your conscious sense, your senses have been so fucking dumbed down. You're parroting information. Hence the word fact. You're parroting information. At that point, best advice I give anybody: go into silence. Because once you go in silence, you realize, Dom, I got all this noise going on. You're not even ready to be in peace. That's all indoctrination. I share this, and I'm being the idiot for saying this. I'm doing the fool's journey by trying to explain to the masses that they've been so dumbed down. If you think you know the truth, then you better know all the fucking gazillion deceptions you give to yourself on a regular basis. You're not the vessel. And that's a tough one to wrap around people's head. And if you realize you're not the vessel, then why are you fucking anchoring by saying the color or the gender you are, let alone the thoughts you put on it? We're energy beings.
Right. Hold on. I understand and understand I'm not the vessel. I know I'm a 9 Ethereum being. I got 9 Ethereum genetics. I know I'm not the vessel. I know this. I'm just playing a role down here. I know I incarnate life after life after life. I know we the ancestors. I know this. I understand all that. I already know. I know black is not a place, person, or thing. These are misnomer titles. I know all this stuff, bro. You're preaching to the choir, man. But I have to say certain things to get my point across because for the slow ones in the back. So that's what I'm trying to say. If your glass is already full, you think you know what you know already. If I try to pour more knowledge and more water into your glass, it's already full. You're not gonna take it. That's what I said. Ignorance is the form of somebody knowing what they know already. And I try to come give them new knowledge and new wisdom. They're not gonna want to take it in. Like, nah, he's crazy. He's racist. No, I don't. It's like a child taking their hands and covering up their ears. No, he's wrong. I don't want to hear that. He's not right. They're not the first ones. If they was, who cares? It's just because it hurts people's feelings, man.
Nah, that's not the reason why the aboriginal conversation robbed people the wrong way. It robbed people the wrong way because people that
they rub people the wrong way because they peons.
Let me tell you why. It robbed people the wrong way because y'all are tearing up other people, right? In order to bring up your rise, right? Meaning that going at the Africans, right? Going at the people in the Caribbean, calling them immigrants, right? So when you're going at other people that look like you in order to bring yourself up, it robbed people the wrong way. That's why why you think most rappers die in their own hood.
Right.
Most certain people that's trying to make it, they die right there
but Naga, I don't have a problem with nobody else per se. I don't, bro. I guess the way I say it, it comes off wrong. And people, they so quick to use that racist word. What does racist even mean? They say things they don't know what the hell it even mean. They don't know what etymology is. They don't study words. They don't know what none of this shit means. They like to say it because it sound good. Oh, he's a racist. Like you point their own finger. I feel like Scarface. What about you? You point your finger at me? Shit.
TZ, can I ask something? Okay. Are you here?
Sometimes it comes across with a little bit of anger in your voice, but you are real passionate, and maybe some people take it wrong. But it's really
I'm not mad. If I was mad, but I just get frustrated because I feel like, man.
So TZ, can I ask
really passionate, like me and other people too. I get passionate, man, and then
I'm telling you, and I respect what you said yesterday, Charles. Because the reason why I get so frustrated and mad, because like you said, just imagine you've been lied to all your damn life, and then you find out one day, boom, damn, everything I was told was a damn lie. Hold on, they participated in that? Oh, they played us like we some fools. They played us like we was dumb. Okay, it's just a lot of built up anger, but that's still not an excuse for me to tear other people down. Because if anybody feel like I'm tearing them down, attacking them, or attacking their so-called quote unquote race, I apologize. But I'm still unapologetic at the same time when it comes to my people.
It's not you personally, but it's the umbrella that you fall under. The stigma come with being an aboriginal. Is not with you personally. That's what I'm saying, because you have to understand that knowledge, what I'm saying, is rising up. The knowledge was hidden, right? So all of a sudden, it just become more and more popular. Right. So people.
Right, right.
So
You're
right. So it's not like, oh, they know. It's not like we have a bunch of other people that know who, the Aboriginal leader is, or who's pushing it, and they hate them. No, it's just that their conversation in itself just rub people the wrong way, because you know it goes by calling people immigrant, which is your own people that's on the same continent as you, right? And it is called other people that look like you, right? Uh uh is tearing them down, and calling them all type of names and doing all type of things, and telling them that they're trying to replace you. They come here to the day, they're doing this to us, they're doing that. So all this conversation rob people the wrong way. So it's not you personally, but it's the way the information, of the Aboriginal is coming out.
True.
right,
It's
right.
not it's not personal with you, but it's personal with them. So when people understand the concept of what pride before a fall really means, that's people that think that they know. They're using the cardinal mind. So now, if a person truly, truly understands, not knowledge, truly understands you're not the vessel, and you realize all these things that you talk about is actually anchoring it. This is why most people are caught up in the evil world, the material world. Most people
Right.
just don't understand the energy behind it. So now when I share with people, I'm sharing it to the few. The masses are already asleep. Maybe in the next lifespan, they can understand that. There's a lot of people here that are in dark skin. At one time, they were in a light skin. They just don't realize what you hate and persist and resist. You
But
become
sometimes,
a,
hey,
you.
but sometimes, Don, I've been doing videos, man. I've been inside of this. I'm not part of no community where you can call this the conscious community, spiritual community, whatever you want to call it. I feel like sometimes, quote unquote, that this community is worse than the masses, the zombies.
No, so it's just
Because all of us
revealing
want to
it.
be right.
No, but that's the thing. Right and wrong is actually a very pious position, opposed to taking right and left, and even that's for the hemispheres.
Because people ain't gotta take my word for nothing, man. I tell people all the time, man. Anything that I say about anything, you can go fact check it. You can pick your phone up, Google that shit, because we live in the age of information. We in the
That's
age
right.
of enlightenment.
But they're
And
going to have
everything that I say,
knowledge, TZ. Sorry, they're going to have knowledge. They're not going to have wisdom. The whole concept of understanding and overstanding, that's fucking child's talk. Because the understanding, that's the heart. Blood goes to it, and it can easily be tempted by backbiting. The overstanding is being ignorant to actually what's called the mind. Unless you understand consciousness, you can actually go beyond the mind. The mind is you're under it. You can have discernment. This is where we talk about the tree of life, not the tree of knowledge and good and evil. That's
right,
child's play. And when I say child's play, meaning that you should be able to develop your emotions. That's what we talk about Christ consciousness. Christ
right,
consciousness is about developing the intellect and also being mature with the emotion. Arguing with other people shows you're not consciously mature yet in your emotions. If you're truly true to yourself, nobody's going to move you from that position. You'll be like, that's interesting, like a deer in a headlight. But once you turn around and say, I've got to try to prove a point, I said, now you're talking with your pride. And that's a fun game because that's like jealousy and like envy. It never ends. You're drowning all the time. I'm
and,
proud of this. Really? Really?
and
What are you proud of?
you just said energy, and you said understand. So it's all the same. Energy, inside,
Yeah, I
inner.
know. Okay, but where I'm going with this is go beyond the inner part. Go to the midbrain. The midbrain is where women are already preset with it because they're the ones who are always going to have offsprings for those vessels, and then we jump in after it gets birthed. We're not in those vessels, by the way, not when it's in another woman's womb. So now, on top of that, once you actually understand how the mind works, it communicates with the midbrain. This is why we have concept called intuition, insightful, intelligent, but most people are caught up in their upper hemispheres. That's where you get scholars and scribes. That's where the king and queen sit. The heart's supposed to be the gesture to privately say, listen, you king and queen, I don't care I don't give a shit who's right and wrong. You're fucking up your own kingdom. That kingdom was within oneself. That is what you're supposed to steward. The ones that actually learn
Quick
that and then
question.
they start stewarding outside vessels, in this case land, now they're the kind of people, do I go to a wise person to understand the luminaries, to understand how things are? Because now we're talking about time and space. Because where the luminaries are, those signs up there, and by the time it gets manifested here on Earth, it could be centuries. That's why they understand wars and resets. See, most people are indoctrinated what they think what time is. That doesn't work that way. What we have here is called gauges. which is called the numbers. You use clock and watches, and then those two things up in the skies, those are just suns. Now, if you're going to be an African tribe member and you understand that beyond the 7-day cycle called the sun, there's the 10-day cycle called Ceres. And that's a different kind of energy now. We're using other calendars, Georgian calendars, all these other different calendars, other different culture uses. But by narrowing yourself down to a particular culture, at that point, you're asleep.
I got a question for you, Dom. Do you realize? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, here. I was
Yeah,
just
we
gonna
hear
say,
you, but you're muffling.
yeah, I got these headphones on. Go ahead. I'm at the store anyway.
Hey,
I got
Naga, hold on. It's so Dom. So you saying if somebody attaches their, I ain't gonna say attach it. If somebody knows what they are, say I'm not a part of anything. It's just a birthright. People. That's why I was trying to say. Tell people yesterday they get it misconstrued. There's a difference between being a part of a code, being a part of something, and just having a plain, flat out birthright. You know, and standing on your birthright because you've been stripped of your birthright. So, and you said you still sleep.
You're so asleep. You said the word birthright. You just said the word birthright. Who gave you that ability to have a right?
Some birthright.
Birthright. Okay, so you jumped into that form. Do you understand what walk-ins and shapeshifters are? You jump into that form. If you don't understand that, you're not going to understand how most people that are in the music industry, they give their will up to something else and then they jump in. A guy like Michael Jordan has many walk-ins on there. You don't have any rights. Not in this realm. You use somebody else's technology, that's a privilege. You go into somebody's plane, that vessel is a privilege. You didn't create that vessel. And don't think your parents that actually supported it out has that privilege. Who taught you how to breathe? Not your parents. Who taught you how to actually digest your food? That's called the ego. That's the mind. That's artificial intelligence. Humans don't even come close to develop.
People say don't get attached to the vessel. But when they
that's suffering.
When these people fill out job applications, they put down their physical mundane titles, but then they hop online and say we're not a part of the vessel. But then when you go out in the matrix, you do all this matrix shit. It makes no sense to me. People contradict themselves.
But you're saying it makes no sense. Listen to the word. You're not the vessel. Hold on. You're hearing it. You're not the vessel. Are you going to participate with it? Yes. That's discernment.
Oh man.
That's discernment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, this is where I talk to the few, not the masses.
Shit all day.
Okay, you're the vessel. Okay, hold on. You're the vessel. Who's running it right now? TZ, hold on. TZ, I'm sharing things with you that you probably have never thought about. TZ, when you're communicating right now with me, you're hearing me as another human being, okay? Who's running the liquids in your body? When you go to sleep, who runs it? When somebody goes into a coma, who runs it? It's its own artificial intelligence. And some people actually know how to communicate with it like a pendulum. Now, those thoughts that you have, how did you get them? Were you born with those thoughts or were you programmed with those thoughts?
Programmed with the thoughts. Y'all try to talk to us like we kids or something.
We all are.
Hey,
we all are. I'm a child.
Hold on right quick. That's the question I was gonna ask Dom. And then you could go right back to his. Do you realize that, Dom? Do you realize that you have a bullying form of teaching?
My frustration comes to the fact that I've been way too fucking polite with people. I got to tippy-toe around people's underdeveloped emotions. The fact that even you guys are getting emotional, I'm doing this on purpose. Where I'm trying to think, okay,
that's
so
why
when are they going to...
That's why I call it a bullying form of teaching.
Sure it is. It's bullying information. I know I'm doing this.
Like kids, man. That's what that women did. They be trying to handle us like we just kids, like we don't know shit.
We are.
They feel like they know more. We don't know nothing. So I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, I just hold on a second.
I tell all of y'all, go fact check anything I say. Y'all be trying to discredit what we say.
TZ, where's the air?
I know what y'all trying to do. I see it.
Okay, but where's the air? I'm going to put that out. As a child, I'm going to ask, where's air? You'll see its effect, but where is it? Where are thoughts? I'm putting that we're kids, meaning that we're playing. At the same time, we're very naive in a lot of areas. The other stuff that we can actually justify or play around with, that's indoctrinations. We've been conditioned. So what's the sounds and frequency of Sanskrit? What's the sounds and frequency of Greek? What's the sounds and frequency when you actually start playing with you're doing Braille or you're doing American Sign Language, all those different movements of your fingers? What it actually does to the vessel? You know,
Right.
how do we steward our vessel? When are you supposed to eat your foods? Are we supposed to still based on the colors of the days? Are we supposed to use Latin and all that kind of stuff? I can bombard this with all kinds of information. It just would allow somebody to be humble enough and say, fuck Dom, I hardly know anything. I said, bingo, welcome to the club. But even if you do know what you know, can you apply discernment to it?
Right.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's what you're saying, Don, man. Like,
That's all.
I'm man enough to admit it. I don't know it all. It's a process. I'm chasing knowledge. I'm a sucker for knowledge.
But if
When
you
I'm
do
not
know,
I'm not running my business and I'm not doing this YouTube thing, I'm studying, I'm researching, I'm going within. I want to know. I want to learn. I've always been this way since I was a little kid. My mom still tell me that to this day. She said, "Kentrell, you always been smart since you was little." She said, "You remember you used to read your grandmother's mail?" So my grandmother was dropped out in the 4th, 5th grade. She couldn't read. So I'm
Hey,
sitting there,
John,
little kid, reading that mail. So I've always been
John,
intelligent. So I've always
John,
been.
look,
I'm
the
just
reason
passionate
why,
about what I
the
do.
reason why, the reason why Dom is like that because he sees himself as the observer. So he don't see himself as a knower. He don't think he can know anything. He could possibly know anything. He think he can only observe, right?
Yeah,
I'm the student.
I'm not taking nothing away from Dom. Dom a smart dude. I don't run into some of the most intelligent people since I've been doing this YouTube. Y'all some of the most intelligent people I came in contact with. So I would never take nothing away from none of y'all. You know.
Okay, so can I elaborate on that? Okay, I'm the student right now as the observer. So now there's other paths. There's the left-hand path, right-hand path, or middle path. This is where most people are the experiencer. So now I'm trying to be the student. When I'm actually doing my electrical, I'm the experiencer. Like I understand it to a certain point. Now I've taught other people, but I've taught them what I'm aware of. But I'm aware of a bunch of other stuff. Doesn't mean I'm going to apply it. You don't always have to apply things. Not everybody has to put their hands on the stove. The wise one turns around and says, okay, I'm just going to learn from others. So when you're smart, you can become either clever or you can go towards being wise. Somebody that tells me that they're a doctor and I didn't even ask, I said, now you went from being smart to being clever. Why? Because the wise person knows I don't have to explain myself. And even if I do, I need to pick up the energy. This is where we get caught up in this kind of stuff. So for me as the observer, I'm observing those stuff. I'm actually in my feminine energy. That's the teachable energy, opposed to the masculine energy, which is nothing more than more programs. The one fuels the other. This is why we talk about feminine energy and we talk about masculine energy, negative versus positive, the yin versus the yang. I'm using words to describe things. That's it.
Right,
But for
but
the
I think you describing, the masculine energy because your energy is the energy that okay, if you don't see everything, like a observer supposed to see things, then you must be dumb, right? You must be dumb. You must not,
sure,
you must be indoctrinated. So
sure.
to
I'm
you
with
is the only path that people you could resonate with people is when people expressing themselves, in an angle that you see they're coming from an observer angle. But when people speaking where they're coming from all angles, right? You think that they're confused. You think they're stupid. You think they're dumb. They don't know what they're talking about. But in fact, it's because the way you divide knowledge, the way you divide, you separated the
okay.
things.
You use the word
Everything.
thinking. Naga, I've already encompassed it by conscious ignorant. I already know I'm consciously ignorant. I'm also playing the fool journey. But when you say like words like dumb and all that kind of stuff, which is fine, we can look up the definition, all that. I can say the word like, we can look up the old definition of the word slow or late. I get all that stuff. We're consciously ignorant. The fact that we actually use this language, that confirms it. I'm just saying conscious ignorant. Conscious. Once you wake up in the morning, now you're in the conscious state. What are you going to use in the conscious state, the waking state? Your senses. What are the senses? You're going to what? Touch something? Can it easily be misled? Sure, it can. Same with your smell. It could easily be misled. That's all it is. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying through observation, you realize, oh yeah, I've touched something. Is it really what I think it is? And then of course, the person will say, but wait a second here. I'm using a word to describe it. Where have I ever seen the word metal before? See, now we're talking about the alchemy of language opposed to the alchemy of the material. Now, I'm just sharing out loud to the ones that are actually willing to understand this. The rest of you, do whatever the fuck you want with it. That's not of no
Yeah,
concern
but
to me.
clearly, you see us right now. It's not that we're not trying to
No, your
understand, but
response gives you away.
we
The way you respond gives you away,
we
Naga.
overstand. We
Nega,
overstand what
I'm
you're
the kind
saying.
of guy that would say, listen, you see this piece of 2x4? Go in the back 40 and hit yourself over the head. Why? Because you need your attention, not mine. I'm sharing out loud. You want to share out loud? You go right ahead. I'll gladly hear you.
And you
But
don't
the
and
fact
you
that
don't think that's insulting?
it could be, But that's how you want to perceive it. That's up to you. What are you going to do with that? How's that going to serve you? You're going to get angry. You're going to get upset. You're going to do a physical action as you're going more down into the lower energies. Opposed to, that's interesting. The guy just shared a whole bunch of stuff. He could be full of shit. I say that openly. But what is shit?
So how is that mindset work? I'm going on and throw the rocks, right? And hide my hand, and then the person, right, that's reacting, now I'm going to put the burden on them, or are they going to keep reacting? Hold on. I'm going to put the burden on them, or they're going to keep reacting by me keep throwing rocks at them and hiding my hand. How is that type of mindset work? Like, but I'm the one that's taking the actions and pay attention to the reaction and hoping the reaction stop.
But it might also reveal where they are emotionally. This is where we get the concept of mastery and slavery that we do within oneself. Same with friends and enemy. That should be done within, never without. Without only will confirm what's already done within. So if I say something and it deserves something, that tells more about them. I'm not here to understand them. That's their responsibility. Especially when I tell them, I said, have you ever left that vessel before? Now, if they want to talk about astral traveling, I said, then who are you then? But if you haven't, I said, you know something interesting? You're worrying about what other people say or do for you. But meanwhile, you've never realized you've always been in that vessel. So why are you expecting other people to be accountable for you? We want to share. Because remember, I'm the student here, guys.
So
I'm the student.
So have you observed that actions have reactions before? Because you observe things, right? So have you, in your lifetime, have you observed that actions have reactions?
Sure it does. The word action gives it away. We have it in many words. Act, action, actually, practical, factual, fact. Those are just words. Those are afterthoughts. Hold on. Those are afterthoughts. The physical is actually afterthoughts. This is what I'm trying to tell you. We manifest things, manifest. Between us and the luminaries, it's called man, called images.
Yeah.
When you look up
at, I get that.
You get that, but I'm sharing out. Laga, I think you forget this is being recorded. This is not me and you and TZ and W having Charles having a private conversation. If it's a private conversation, you're going to see a different side of me now. This is a public conversation.
Hey Naga.
Yeah, but
hey Naga, do me a favor. I don't want to cut y'all off. Naga, do me a favor. If you got an email, drop your email for me, bro. Because I want to get a hold of you off of YouTube. Because I reached out to Dom and Charles. So drop your email, bro, if you can. Some type of contact information, if that's what you want to do.
No problem. I got you. I'll just put my email and number in the chat. Go ahead.
All right, I'll screenshot it. My bad for cutting y'all off.
No, it's all good. So what I was telling Dom is that if he acknowledged, or observed that, every action come with a reactions, then you can't keep taking the same actions, which is, insulting people and then, hoping that, they don't take their reaction, to an extreme, state. You don't know, how much impact, right, your action created. You don't know how much impact, the rocks created, how much of a ripple the rocks created in the ocean if you're not paying attention to that. If you're only paying attention, I got you. I'm gonna put my number right now. If you're only paying attention, to how they're gonna react, then you ain't even knowing how much impact you're creating.
Naga, at this point, I'm hearing you. I'm speaking with words. There's no action in that. You can actually act out that after, sure. I say a positive thing or a negative thing. I'm using words. I know the discernment. That has nothing to do with an action. No different watching somebody throw a free throw. He's not saying the word free throw when he's doing it. Somebody in the audience, that's an observer, say, hey, look at that free throw. But we're watching both the action of him and us speaking. Two different things. If I say the word tree and you're beside me, I'm actually saying the word tree. That's going to affect my avatar. We have blood in us and it's going to affect us. You're going to receive something, hence the word Kabbalah, the word tree, but you're not saying the word. Two different things going on at that point. This is where I talk about discernment. Now, somebody might hear something, they don't like it, and then they start doing something physically. They're going to start putting up their arms. That's the action that you're talking about. But my words should not affect you one way or the other, or it reveals that you're not true to yourself. A person that's true to themselves aren't going to be affected by pleasantries, let alone if I'm a good basketball player and I'm doing a shot and the person says, oh, Dom, nice shot. Oh, okay, thank you. Dom, that was a terrible shot. Yeah, thank you. I'm not here to tell them otherwise. Now, if it's a fellow colleague behind closed doors, I'll make sure and say, listen, why did you say it was a terrible shot, Dom, the way you're flicking your fingers at the last minute? I'm going to take that as credibility. It's like when you scorn somebody, you don't do it publicly because their ego is going to come out and it's going to protect. You ever see a woman that basically their child's in harm's way? There's a super strength come from them because that's the potential of the ego, the I, the vessel. Now, the ongoing thing is called the matrix, the program. Series, the program. It's not the computer. We're using the program and we're not even that. We're not even the vessel. That's me saying that out loud. Am I still using it? Yes, I am. To try to prove me wrong, how does that serve you? Let alone try to prove me right. How does that serve you? Anyway, okay.
That's the thing, man. The thing is, people, not really. At least I ain't not trying to prove nobody the wrong. I'm just trying to prove. I'm just trying to let people know I know what I'm talking about, and
Are you trying to prove yourself
and you
right?
can either accept it, you can either agree with it or disagree with it. But at the end of the day, I know what I'm talking about. So I'm not, here to tell people, they're wrong, or I'm right, or I'm right.
And
They're wrong.
how do you know you're right though? It's through a series of proving yourself right, through an experiment. By testing what you think you know, right?
No, the reason
And
why
then
I
and then
know
you
I'm
get
right is because
confirmation back in a feedback loop, and that tells you yes, I'm right.
the
In a
reason
way.
why I know I'm right is because I'm in my right mind. A true zone. I dropped my number. I don't know if you got it. The
Yeah, I got it, bro.
But look, it goes back to what Dominic was saying earlier with the language, right? The language is very limiting. So if you're saying that you're right, that automatically means you have the propensity to be wrong. You know what I mean? Because you can't have a right without a wrong. You can't have an up without a down. You can't have a left without a right. You can have a cold without a heat.
Yeah,
It's
but I
different
didn't even say
degrees of the
I
same
know what
thing.
you're saying, but I didn't even say I was right. I said I'm basically letting them know I know what I'm talking about. So it's not about right or wrong. But if I know what I'm
But it
talking
even
about, it
goes back
also
to
means that
knowing
I'm
or
right.
not knowing.
What?
It goes back to knowing or not knowing. Yeah, it goes beyond that, but guess what? That cannot be put into words. It goes beyond words. Words ruins it, really.
I mean, everything is
Words
beyond
limit
words. We
it
we
limits
should
it.
know that, man. We should know that even the physical is beyond words.
So
That's
what about
what
your
Dominic keep
actions? You
talking
can show
about.
your actions. Your actions speak louder than
That
words.
that's
That's one
what
step
that's what
higher.
hold on. That's what
You know.
Dominic keep talking about when he said you can't show me the word, you can't show me a spirit, or you can't show me thoughts, because these are beyond, right? Words. Even my when I'm talking about my foot, right? My feet is beyond words. I'm just using the words to describe, what I'm talking about. But the word, what I'm describing is beyond the word.
Yes, I know what you're saying, my friend. That's the point, right? And what is that? What's beyond the word? An action. What's beyond an action? That's
What's
a
beyond
knowing.
an action is a thought. I mean, is an idea. And
It's
what's
a
beyond
strong
an
thought
idea is a
form that's
thought.
that's being relayed to reality. It's a
What?
thought form. A thought form is beyond the action. A
No,
thought form.
a idea is beyond, and then the thought is beyond the idea, because when you have a thought, the thought gives you an idea, right? When you have a thought, it gives you an idea. You develop an idea, right, about the thought, and then, right, the ability to take actions come about.
Exactly, right? So we can look above and below from that point on, and we can have some more understanding, right, and apply it.
But me personally, I
So
think all of it come together. I think, is all just there. I don't think that there, like for real, like I'm saying, the thought, first, a thought will come. No, I think the idea came with the thought, and the action came with the idea, and the reaction came with the actions,
they're all
right?
tethered
But it's
together in a way. They
Yeah,
all
but
work in a symbiotic relationship, if that's a good word for it. It
yeah,
works
they
with
all
symbiosis.
yeah, they all of them exist. All of them is there. But we just we is how we see in phases. Like we see in phases, you know what I'm saying? So this is the reason why we numbers matter to us. First, second, third, and last, all these things matter to us because
Yeah,
we're dealing
yeah,
with the physical.
nega. You see how we see in phases? So it's best to break it down like that, in different steps, to reverse engineer how that's happening and then utilize it for us and the people around us, you know what I mean? So we do the best we can. Now we can share tape and shit.
Transform that energy.
I mean, yeah, I mean that transformation of energy, that's people that have to learn how to how to be learn what alchemy is and how to alchemize the energy. I can't really calibrate some somebody could say Charles, fuck you, bro, this and that, you know and I could try to tell you what they mean in a nice way, and it ain't going to
Yeah,
make
but
you,
remember,
it ain't
nigga,
going
you're
to
on the
change.
internet. Nobody's gonna go into the fucking room and say "fuck Charles."
No,
Let's
listen
say,
to what I'm saying. Listen,
yeah, but let's say
I'm
we're
just
all in the
giving.
same room in
Hold on, bro.
reality.
Okay,
It's
okay.
not gonna
Look,
happen.
somebody could say fuck
It's
me.
different.
Look. Somebody could
And who
say fuck
cares?
me.
So what?
Okay, I'm saying
They-
that, and okay. So listen, though. You say so. I said listen. And saying so, can't nobody else come right and change their frequency and their energy of the way they told me. That person tell me, fuck me to make me feel different. It doesn't matter how somebody tell me, or trying to change the energy that I got from fuck me, right? I ain't shit or whatever the case may be. That energy stuck with me forever. I'm the one that could change that energy.
Exact energy is energy. If it's negative or positive, regardless, it's energy. It's about how
Yeah,
you deal
I'm the
with it.
one
It's
that
how
could
you
change it.
transmute it. It's exactly what you're alluding to. I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. So that's the point. That's fuel to the fire. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
so that's why I say, yeah, we gotta be alchem use alchemy, but that's on a personal level. As a collective, all we can do is what we're doing right now is push each other, right, to to build stronger character, right, to build a better character, right, to be sharper, right, to be to keep elevating. That's all we can do with each other. But we can't force each other, we can't beat each other down, in order to do it. We just, the most we could do is a honorable challenge. That's the most we're gonna do. We're gonna challenge you. Hey man, you know what I'm saying? I see the potential in you, you know what I'm saying? You could be up here with me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm challenging you, man. So what you gonna do? You gonna take that challenge, or you feel like you're gonna stay where you at? You know what I'm saying? And most people felt comfortable with where they at. They ain't trying to climb up the ladder. They ain't trying to elevate themselves, to the point that where, you know, they could, even be in a better position for themselves or to help other people. People stuck in their own way. People stuck in a box. Most people is in a mental prison, like I was talking yesterday. And people is crying out for help, right? They're reaching out for help. They seeing us as a savior. But we we instead of teaching them, or instead of freeing them with passion, right, with compassionate, right, we're trying to tell we get frustrated because they can't, because we're telling them how to break out and they can't, not knowing that we gotta go get them. How many times that you've seen that or heard the military have to go get one of their soldier that in another country? Why couldn't they just get in contact with that soldier and they tell that soldier, hey, come, just come, just take a plane, just do this and come on. You know what I'm saying? Back to America. We
Yeah, let's just
we'll
say shout out to Dominic. You know what I mean? He's off for now. But, you know what I mean?
yeah. So we a lot of time the military have to go get these people, man, because these people is in a because these people be in a situation where
Hold on,
they
Naga.
helpless.
I think Naga. What was that? I think Charles was trying to say something. Charles, you saying something?
No, I said I'm listening, but I'm outside. And,
You're
there's a
on
lot of
road,
noise.
bro. You're on road. I hear you.
But
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
salute. Yeah, so we have to learn to to help people break free mentally without bullying them for not being able to break out for themselves on their own. Because that's on the grand scale, that's what we're doing. We're talking down on people, we bullying people because they stuck in a mental prison. We make fun of
All
them.
right. Well, we've all heard that term constructive criticism, right?
Hmm.
And there's also deconstructive criticism, which is like, just pointing out weaknesses. Everybody has a weakness, like the Achilles heel. You can gauge somebody's weaknesses, and you can be like a fucking idiot, like a virus. It's like, oh, like always points out in a deconstructive way the things that need to be improved. Or you can do it in a beneficial way, like a real motherfucker that actually cares about the people around them. You could point out certain things that you could pay more attention to and improve on, and therefore become a stronger and better fucking individual for yourself and the people around you. You know what I mean?
That's why I fuck with the
There's book.
Bible, man. Because the Bible tells you, you know, I heard, the cries of my people, right? I heard their cries. I hear them crying out for help, right? So we hear our own people crying out for help. It don't matter if they don't tell us
Yeah,
that
and people
directly.
get to the point where they don't give a fuck and they don't even try helping or do nothing, bro. They just hear it and it's like, oh yeah, I guess that makes me feel better about myself.
No, we
If I'm
doing that.
unhappy, just cry.
We doing that. We like, man, we don't got time. I don't got time to go back and forth with you. He's saying that I don't got time to go back and get you. To say that I don't got time to be going back and forth with you is say that I don't got time to go back and get
Bro,
you.
I have a lot of patience for people. I would never give up on anybody. Why? Because technically, if you give up on other people, you're giving up on yourself.
That's
When I'm
right.
breaking down.
That's right.
So, no,
I'm not
I'm not
speaking.
gonna give up on nobody, bro. I have patience and shit. I'm gonna allow them to do their thing and learn whichever way they need to. But eventually they're gonna see it. So
Yeah, I'm not talking about personally. I'm just talking in general. So I know I'm not saying that everybody like Charles right now. So I can't say he's living any he's giving up. He's dedicated. His time. At least 8 hours. 4 hours
I'll
a
never
day.
give.
You know to try to help people break out free. So I'm not just the only one, and he's not the only one. A lot of us is not giving up on our own people, but I'm saying the majority are, right. The majority, right, of people that's break free, mentally, they free, running around, being free, trying to break themselves free physically, and they frustrated that they can't break free physically, but they don't even acknowledge the people that could have helped them that they left behind, still trapped mentally, right? So it is what you're saying, Kej, to give up on people is to give up on yourself, because other people is different version of yourself. This is why I can never understand or comprehend the fact that I would have to pick and choose. Either I am the physical, either I am the observer, either I am the thinker, either I am the knower. Like, I could never understand or agree with the fact that I have to divide myself in such a way. Like, God, in is not limited to just wisdom, knowledge. He's not even limited to doing bad, right? He said, the Bible said that I created light, I created dark. I, the Lord, do all these things. So if God is not, divided himself, to or reduce himself to to an individual, uh, 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 ideology or concept, why should I and try to why should I try to understand it, and survive on that? That's doing myself a disservice. So I would never reduce myself, to a certain individual attribute. No, I have all the attribute. Is all the attribute that makes me who I am, that makes me whole. Without me being all these attribute, right? I'm incomplete. I'm not a whole, a whole being. I'm not a whole entity. So I can never comprehend, what I'm saying, that. So we need to do better, man. We need to do better with on helping people, or even teaching our people, because a lot of time, a lot of us claim to be teachers. We claim to be knowers, but it don't show, because to be a teacher, you need to have a lot of compassion, right? Like Jesus, right? You need to have a lot of
It's that
patience.
too. You gotta. For example, some people like my friend A1. He's like, I put myself through all this crazy shit. He's like an athlete and that. So he's like running fucking marathons and shit for breakfast. He's like, I put myself all through this. Why would I go easy on other people?
Yeah,
Or
that's
why would I
bullshit.
why would I
There ain't
care
no
about other
teacher.
people? I'm like, you're a fucking egotistical psycho retard at that point. That's the whole point. You should put in the hard work so you could make it a bit easier for other people. You have to have fucking patience with them because they have to. Everyone has to start somewhere, and that mindset gets nobody anywhere fast, especially the community and that. It's
Yeah,
not a
we be
fucking
like we.
competition. Like, why does everyone have to be in a competition? You know
I
what I mean?
mean, competition ain't bad.
It's good.
Competition.
It's good in a reason, but not to the point where you're gonna like crush people for it. Like just because you're not up to my standard, like that means like you're just gonna get rid of everybody, and you're just as bad as the people that are just doing this shit in the first place.
My thing is
That's,
the lack of patience, compassion, right? Lack of humility, you know, being humble, right? We don't have none of these attributes, but yet we proclaim to be, masters of this,
and also the main thing, these people that try saying they're masters or teachers. The only way you can be a master or a teacher is if you're a master student. You know what I mean? You're gonna you. The only way you can bring that to other people in like a way where it's not just like
Yeah,
all
and
ego.
people be saying
Like
that too.
you have to be like a student. You have to be a good student. You
even
can't be a
even
fucking
even being
teacher
a
without
even
being a
being a
student.
master student, even being a master student, the master student, if you're not able to learn, if you're not able to learn from anybody, and or from anything, because a master, you know student, right? A master learner is one who can learn from anything
And
and
that's a real
anything.
teacher yourself, really. Yeah.
Yeah. So if
Being the
you if
master
you can't
student.
learn, if you can't learn from, if you think, you can only learn certain things, and you can only learn from certain people, you're not a master of a student. You're just a selective student. That's just what you are. You are a selective student. You pick and choose what you want to be a student about, and what you don't want to be a student about.
Yeah, it's to
So
your own detriment when you realize, and then you realize that eventually, and switch it up and go back every
yeah.
time.
So people be proclaiming master of this, master of that. Man, we a lot of us is far from that. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know how to
Nobody's
put
gonna
our
call them. Anybody who calls himself a master or a fucking teacher, I would not listen to it all. You know what I mean? People should. That should It should be beyond words than that. If you're that type of being, you know what I mean? You're gonna call yourself shit. I don't want to hear you call. I don't want to hear your stupid ass title. You know what I mean?
Nah, you gotta have a title being in the Matrix, but the title have to describe you, have to match you. Like I can't be, call myself uh a a professional soccer player, but I don't even know how to kick a ball.
That's
right?
what I mean. It's like what a master of what? Fucking talking
Yeah,
shit.
so
Get the fuck out of here.
it's good to
Come
have,
into my arena and come fucking play with me. You know
it's
what I mean?
good to have a title. That's good advertisement. You know what I'm saying? So as somebody see me, for example, like we should see each other name and just know what each other about, like Cage, Naga, True Zone. I should just see your name and be like, okay, this brother about truth. You know what I'm saying? He in the zone, like he trying to seek the truth for real. You know what I'm saying? So we should be able to look at each other name, right? If we describe ourselves properly, right, properly, when people talk to us.
I didn't make this name up. I didn't come up with this shit. It was given to me multiple times throughout my life. So I'm like, I might as well call myself that
Well, okay,
on
that's
the
that.
internet.
So basically, people describe you, right? People describe you. People
I'm
observe.
a little
People
kid, hey
analyze you.
Cage, like a little kid, like hey Cage, and then I go to the hood and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? They start calling me Cage, different people, like multiple people throughout my life, from a young to like a teenager to
Yeah, I remember. I
like
remember you
Cage,
told me
Cage.
that. I remember you told me
Yeah.
that. We wasn't so I'm a panel. You talk about it. So but what
Oh
I'm saying,
shit.
either way, either way, your descriptive name, right? How you define yourself by name. When people get to know you, they should understand why you name yourself that. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
didn't
that's
name
that would
myself
be
it. That's the point, though. There's other people that I just
that's
went along with it for now on the internet. People know my real. That's really what people call me. People know me by Cage for real in reality. It's not like an internet name that I came up with.
Yeah, I'm
They're
not saying
called.
nothing wrong with that. People could I call you that is because they sees you with that. When they talk to you, when they get to know you, they sees you as a cage. Like nigga, I'm finna put you. I'm finna be,
I'm gonna put
a
you in the
mother.
cage and we're gonna see what happens after.
Yeah. So when people talk to you, they see that. They're like, oh damn, that motherfucker is a cage. Or when people talk to truth, or when he pay attention to himself, he like, man, I'm about the truth. I'm seeking the truth. I'm all about the truth. So I think my name is Truth Zone. Or people start to call him Truth or Zone, whatever the case may be. Or people put it together. But it's the fact
Oh,
that
let's
what
go
I'm
deep
saying
into
is
the
that
Naga. Let's go deep into the Naga.
yeah, even Naga. You feel me? So
Naga, yeah, yeah. Where
when
does that
people
come
start
from?
talking to me,
Mm.
they realize that oh yeah, you're right. Your name Naga. You feel me? Cause I get I represent what my name well describe me. It's a good advertisement. So ain't nothing wrong with the title. If your title advertise who you are, if the title is giving people an insight of who you are. So people will like, okay, like for example, if when we're hungry and we start to seeing restaurant name, right? What happened? We were like, okay, we start to like, okay, maybe we can get some food there. Then we go in there and it's food for real. Then we know we was right. So we know, okay, that was good advertisement. They told me there was gonna be a restaurant right there. Or I see a sign that said a restaurant and it's really a restaurant. I got some food. It's the same thing with us. So when we describe ourselves, we give ourselves a certain name, and people talk to us and they see that we about what we about. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a trick. I'm not supposed to call me a god. And when people pray to me, for their problem, and I can't answer. I call
Yeah,
myself
it's
the
funny in the Kabbalion. It's like a lowly person in one of Shakespeare's play, or like an author's play. You know what I mean? Like a novelist. You know what I mean? Like an author, and they have characters within their book, and they have some sort of realization. Maybe I'm God. No, that's bullshit. You're a part of God. You know what I mean? You're a creation of that. You're a part of it technically, but it's like fucking someone in a Dickens fucking thing or a goddamn like a Shakespeare novel or play or whatever. A novel they're trying to say, "Oh, I'm God." No, you're not. That's like it's the same comparison as to a
yeah.
human.
That's why I brought
You're
it up.
yeah,
Even
you're a
though
part of
even
it, but
though
you're
I
not a
consider
fucking. You're
myself,
not God. You're a part of God. Everyone is. You're not God though. You try
yeah,
acting like
because
that. Watch what happens
that
to you.
is well in a sense, I say it too. In a sense, I say I'm a god, but I don't put
You're
it
a
in a
part of
sense.
it, but you're not. You're not the. It's like somebody in the book, a character in a book, trying to say they're the fucking author.
No, yeah,
You
right.
know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying is
It's
that I don't describe myself as a religious God, as the God in the Bible, but I'm describing myself as a God, meaning guide, right? That I can guide myself. And if somebody come, most of my friends, even elder people, old people in my family or old friends, I have conversation with, right? They always tell me that, oh man, I was happy that I had this conversation with you. You helped me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You helped me. So it let me know, okay, I have that guide, energy in me where I can guide people. And on top of that, my name is Ra. You know what I'm saying? So I got Ra in my name. You know what I'm saying? Which is also associated, you know what I'm saying, with the sun god. You know what I'm saying? Or
I also have
with
that in my
guide.
name too. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, so it I just, you know what I'm saying, I could call myself by that. So when some if I tell somebody I'm a god, I expect them to ask me, what do you mean by that? I don't expect them to just assume that I mean I'm a god, like religiously, like you could just pray to me and I'm gonna answer your prayers.
You're right and you're wrong. You're a part of like just like everybody else. You know, but
Yeah.
yeah, I want to say you are the absolute. You are a part of it. You could say you are, but you really aren't. But you are at the same time.
Well, I could say I could that's what I'm saying. When I speak outside of religion, I could say I'm a god because God is everything, right? And I personally think that I'm everything. I think you is me. Dominic is me. Truth Zone is me. Even my grandfather that passed away
Bro,
is
I'm
me.
a projection of your subconscious mind. How do you feel?
What?
I'm a projection of your subconscious mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You are a version of me. You are
Yeah.
a version of me. Charles is. Everybody is.
And
So we are all.
reality is very dreamlike. For example, in a dream, see how it's all being generated off the same thing. You know what I mean? But like, look, you'll have landscapes. You have a bunch of characters within that dream. You know, you'll have like complete worlds in that generated, and also like interacting with a bunch of different characters.
It's like, all
Just
right.
like
I think the best.
reality, just like what you're saying, pretty much like how other people are you and you're them. That's the
I
whole
think the
fucking
best way to
idea
put it.
behind it. It's very dreamlike reality.
I think the best way to put it is like uh uh it's like a computer. Everything inside of the computer is being generated by numbers. Everything inside of the computer is being generated by numbers.
Numbers are definitely a product with it. You know, that's definitely a placeholder within the the generation of what we call reality. 100%. You know,
So
you can
so
look into them. There's a code, some sort of an algorithm, a code, whatever you want to call it.
so again, so when I said that God is everything and I think I'm everything, I'm talking about, in a sense of a computer, how everything in the computer is numbers. It don't matter if I'm watching a video, it's just numbers. If I'm watching a picture, if I'm
And
reading an
how are the
article,
numbers generated through input and output, right? You have to
the nu-
input a certain function, and you get an output. In the within number. That's
well,
input
I'm
and
not
output.
I don't I don't do computer coding. I just know, that's how you program a computer, is with numbers. So, and it also tells me, okay,
It's
there's
not
the
just
thing.
numbers, really. Like it's like it depends. You use JavaScript, C++, fucking Python. It's not just numbers. It's a bunch of scripts too. You know what I mean? It goes
It's
beyond
all
numbers, but yeah, it
man-made
all converts back to numbers. But you can write it in English, or you can write
gematria.
it in
And they
Python.
worship that shit. They be worshiping gematria like their god made it and shit. Do you know the police departments have I forgot what the satanic 6-pointed star is crossed. It's called the
What's the Star of
Severetza
Rephaim or
Star of Remfram, yeah.
Melchizedek?
I,
Fucking
yeah. Um, that's wild. I don't know why I brought that up, but I've been seeing it on every police uniform. Fucking that star is everywhere.
Yeah, they're
Well,
the
that's the
rulers,
six
man.
pointed. It's a hexagon and it represents Saturn, really, and the cube and all that. The king. It all goes back to Kronos and Saturn,
Yeah,
and that's what it
everything.
represents, really. If you look into it, they're going off time.
You said the 5 pointed stars.
Six. You're saying six.
Yeah, it's it's the five that represents Saturn. For real.
No, the six represents Saturn, bro.
What five is the Star of David? That's what represents Saturn.
Star of David 6 pointed.
Is 6 pointed Star of David?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Star of David's the 6-pointed one. Yeah, look
Which
it
one
up.
is the 5 pointed stars?
The
Bro, look
five-pointed
it up. The
star
5 pointed
is
star is a pentagon or
the
pentacle.
pentacle.
Um,
Yeah.
there's different words for it, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
something different. That's different. The Saturn thing is the 6 pointed thing, which is the Star of David, the Star of Rephaim, the Star of Melchizedek, the Star of Israel,
Yeah,
whatever.
you're right. The Star of David. I just thought it was the 5 pointed star, but this, the 5 pointed stars
Well,
is
you looked it up.
the 5 pointed stars. Nah, I ain't look it up. I don't gotta look it up. I just
Well,
got
you
confused
should.
between.
Yeah, you should because you gotta like be sure, right? Because you can't trust what fucking people on the internet tell you. No.
No, well, that's exactly why I won't look it up. I only listen. I only do research when I just come up with things out of nowhere. I'm like, hold on, I'd be so fascinated with coming up with it. I'm like, hold on, let me go and search if see if am I the only one. Like when I draw my pictures, right? I upload it on Google. Like I go on Google, find pictures. Like I go and take the pictures with the camera and see what's going to come up like it. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I do research. But other than that, I'm not about to find out what somebody say about to prove if I'm right or wrong. Hell no, nigga. I'm gonna correct myself. I'm gonna find out if I'm saying the right thing or the wrong thing, and then I'm gonna correct myself, like I just did just now.
I hear you, man. I hear you. You know you gotta explain like that. You're good. Yeah, I'm just saying, like we gotta make sure we have the right facts in that, so we don't get like led down the right, the wrong way.
Yeah, to me, the 5 pointed star. I mean, is I look at the two stars that make the 11. The 5 and the 6 pointed stars is what create 11 or L even. So to me, is the earth, right? Is the earth and the heaven that when they marry together, that create L even, Elohim.
Yeah, well, the Elohim, the whole L prefix and suffix with all the angels, L. It's always L. That goes back to the Saturn. With the 5 pointed star, it has to do with the something called the quintessence in alchemy. You know what I mean? The four elements and plus the observer. Right, you got the four main elements or the four cardinal directions, and the observer.
Yeah, bro.
So the
What they
five,
say?
the six
Listen,
is
what?
something different. It's two
Yeah,
interlacing
I know.
triangles.
Listen,
Like,
I'm,
look.
I'm.
If you take two triangles and you interlace them, you know what I mean. What do you get? You get the
You get a, you
fucking.
get a, you get a diamond.
I want to say it's a diamond, but yeah, you get that Star of
That six
David
pointed
thing or
star.
something.
That
Yeah,
6 pointed star.
yeah. It's just two triangles interlaced, like as above, so below. One up, one down. Put them together. In like easy terms. There you go.
Yeah, but at that point, you don't really get the earth. You're not dealing with the earth. Dealing with the
Well,
earth,
you
you
get
when
you
we
get
dealing.
the earth and all the other three elements, and earth, air, wind, and fire, and then the observer or the spirit or the ether. Then you
That's
get the
Saturn.
quintessence. That's
The
no, that's
observer
the
is Saturn.
five. That's the five. You're adding time after.
Yeah, you got it wrong, Naga.
Who is
That's
the
the five,
observer?
Huh?
bro.
Who's
Bro,
the observer?
now you're adding the observer, adding the observer watching the observer with the six after. It's different.
I might.
When it comes to
I might be
porno,
wrong. I
are you
know.
the
I'm
observer or the
definitely wrong.
participant?
I know I'm definitely wrong to the uh collective senses. You know how what people how the people describe the heaven and the earth to be. But the way I'm looking at the 4-pointed stars, the 5-pointed stars, and the 6-pointed stars is dealing with the Trinity. That's the universe. The that's the cosmos, the earth, and the luminaries.
Yo, we should do a skit, right? Joke out in public, and what are you rolling up the fucking and I'd be like, "What up, my naga?" Right? And people will look, they think I'm about to use the N
How dare you say Naga?
word.
That's the N word.
What up, my nigga?
Naga is the N word.
How
So
dare you
so
say Naga?
so me calling myself Naga is calling myself the N word.
No,
No,
no.
obviously fucking not. I'm just saying people are retarded in the fucking chat. He just highlighted it. He thought it'd be a funny skit. How
Yeah.
people are so fucking dumb. I'm saying Naga, 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 Niga, Niga. In
And the word
Mandarin.
nigga is not a bad word, man.
No, no, I'm saying Niga, Niga is in Mandarin. In Mandarin, that's like ah or in English. And I mean, I used to have a best friend growing up when I was a young kid. I mean, he used to live in the hood. I used to live in the hood too. I remember we used to go with sometimes with his family to the fucking food court, or young ass children, and they'd be like niga, 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 and people would look around like, oh, what did they say? You know what I mean? Even though it means nothing like racist in their fucking language. In
Everything's
Mandarin,
racist to people nowadays. You notice that?
people are retarded. They're like, shut the fuck up, man. Dicks.
Yeah.
You have to have someone in your mind just to even have that in your
I
fucking
mean,
acting.
what we expected, man. We live in a backwards world. The world is upside down. So everything we in the fucking matrix, man. I don't think people really take that uh generously when people say we in the matrix. I think some people just say it just to say. Because if we understand this is truly the matrix, you know what I'm saying? Then we should understand that, everything, in it, you know what I'm saying, is we're dealing with indoctrination, we're dealing you know, with all this thing that we're describing, we're talking about. That's what we're dealing with in the matrix. So I don't understand.
I'm sure there are fucking stupid people out there that don't understand if you get poked either way, you're bleeding red when it comes out of your body. So like, I don't know. I don't understand how people get that fucking dumb. But yeah, like I was saying, it's like you're speaking fucking Chinese, like Didi, but one time niga, and that just means like or It's just like
This is the
I
dumb
just
dumb world, bro.
it's like a placement in their fucking language for like
If this wasn't
time
the
when
dumb dumb world, if this wasn't the dumb dumb world, we wouldn't be so proud about ourselves, like knowing what we know. We wouldn't proud so proud of ourselves because it would be
we should be
irrelevant.
low level idiots. Everybody should be way more advanced than all of us. We should all be building up where everybody's doing better every time. Like putting the bar higher,
Nah,
regardless.
I consider myself to be some of the elite. I'm just not evil like them. You see,
You're beyond
we
that,
have
then. I mean, you're beyond a fucking stupid elite. You're not
no,
bound
I'm
by
no,
Saturn or
nah,
time.
I'm telling you, no,
So,
I'm letting you know, I'm not beyond that. In the physical, I'm an elite. I'm an L.
I'm letting you know you're beyond the elite. The
Yeah,
key
in
word is
the in
L.
the spiritual, I'm beyond that, but in the physical, I am that. I'm just not the evil one. You see,
Yeah, I
you
know.
have you
Like
have evil.
you have a choice. You have a
You
choice, bro.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm not the evil one. So I'm not a bad, elite. I'm a good one. I mean, the bad one reached out to me. You know how many Masons requests that I got from Facebook, from you, Instagram, from emails. secret society reach out to me. Like I don't know how they got my information, but
Bro, that's
soon
called scamming. They're just scamming retards. The real motherfuckers are never gonna reach out. You have to reach out to them. I'll tell you
nah,
that.
man. I've
Yes.
looked up,
You
man.
can't
I'm
tell me
telling you,
different.
I've looked up these lodges, bro. These lodges, bro. I've looked up these lodges, bro. Some they right around my neighborhood.
Nigga,
5
you want
minutes
me to put
walking
you want to
distance.
put something in the private? I'll show you the real initiation. You don't have to do shit. You want to see what they do? I can give you the real initiation.
I don't get to the point where I need where I get to I
Hey,
don't
why
get to
not?
that I don't get to
If
that
you're
point.
interested in that, you know.
I don't even I've never been to a lodge. I've never even stepped foot into a lodge. But they just know of me like to the point where they want to recruit me. So I'm just saying that if I want, I know I'm at that level, where I could be, you know, uh, 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 a legal elite, where I could be making move, but I just know it ain't going to be in my advantage or my people. Like so, I don't, that's not what I'm. I'd rather be, considered to be one of the low life, knowing that I'm doing the job of the elites amongst my people. That's it.
I gotta jump off here in like 10 minutes.
All right.
I gotta go jump off a cliff. Yeah.
Make sure you have your parachute.
I
Oh
have two
man.
parachutes, bro. Double check them.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You ever went cliff jumping? I mean, parachuting.
Yeah, I did that. I think I did that for my 21st birthday.
Shit. I don't know. That thing don't open up. Goodbye. There's no way to survive that. None.
You're right, but I
Yeah,
think
well, your
listen, it's
mind's
a
gonna make it. Your mind's gonna fuck it up and make it not start, unless you
it's
do it
the same. It's
purposefully.
the same thing. It's the
You
same
gotta
thing with
check
getting an.
it. There's certain standards to check it. Like I know a guy Sarge, and he's done over 20,000 jumps and shit, bro.
It's the
That's
same thing as
That's
wild.
getting.
fucking.
It's the same thing as getting into an airplane. You gotta. That's a lot of faith. That's a lot of trusting. Because the engines, anything could happen, and shit is your ass. But you know, I think shit like that. I think when we on the ground, we rely on our senses, but I think once we off the ground, we rely on our consciousness.
On my bad, I said 20,000. I was like, I'm at 2,000, over 2,000.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Like when I say I think when we dealing with the ground, we're thinking with our senses, but when we're dealing off the ground, we're thinking with our consciousness. We think
Huh.
Do y'all agree?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, because I think some when people talk about faith or hope and shit like that, I think there is dealing with consciousness, is knowing that okay, I'm gonna rely on my consciousness, which is beyond my senses, like closing your eyes, and do something. It's like just relying on your consciousness.
Well, that's all
Yeah.
you really need. Like in these magical practices and shit, you know what I mean? They need some weird ritual. They need some sort of regalia and some other shit. Some sort of voodoo doll or fucking in hoodoo or whatever. They need some sort of physical object. No, a real master does not need any fucking object at all except their mind. You know what I mean? You should be able to operate if you had zero or nothing at all. It's all you need is it's all within the mind either way. Technically, all these tools, just ways of convincing the subconscious mind to have work or action.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to convey earlier. So when I come out outside of my mind and come to the mid and be in the matrix, debating ideas, or we having back and forth or certain things, I'm still in my mind, you know
it's still going on in my mind. So the real conflict is is within. It's not without. It manifests without. It played out without. Just like when we're watching a movie out of a projector, we're looking at the wall. We're seeing the movie on the wall, but really, it's playing in the projector.
All right. Well, most people do, but what if you're like beyond the projector? You're like You're like the being that even before they even thought of creating the projector, you're gonna tweak it that way. You're gonna fucking understand how to reverse engineer it,
All
how it
of the
reflects
above.
off the wall. Like
All
you're the fucking you're the guy behind the scenes, bro. The fuck. Then what?
Yeah, that's all of the above. That's what I'm saying. I got a
Yeah.
mind of
What do you
all
mean
of the
smoke
above.
and mirrors? I'm playing this shit behind the scenes. That's it.
Yeah, I'm behind, within, and outside and in front of it, like the
Yeah,
whole
it's like the
360.
shadow. You see when you're walking, you got the shadow following you. You know what I mean? It's like the shadow of creating the. Can't have the shadow without the fucking
So we're talking about.
object. I mean,
So
weird.
we're talking about beyond the spiritual,
What's beyond that?
right?
What is that?
That was gonna be my next question. That was gonna be my next question. Is what's gonna be beyond that? But when I'm talking about within, I'm talking about spiritually. You can only go within, you know. In
Well, but I'll tell you what's beyond that. It's creating your own program and actually running it. It's not easy to do. But that you can call it spiritual, beyond spiritual, because it's happening either way. This is how these people fucking deal with it, anyways. You know? But like you said, yeah, you're an elite that's nice. What did you say? You're like an elite that's kind of nice. You're not gonna fuck around with people. So you should know. You could do it. You could run your own program. Very simple.
All right, let me jump off of here. Peace to the chat. Cage, Naga, appreciate you coming up. And we had Dom, Truth Zone. Who else came up? I think JG came up for like a second. It was Truth Zone,
Yeah, I was gonna
Naga.
say, Charles, when you end it, if you stay on Naga, when you end it, Charles, like we could talk privately for a minute. You want to have a conversation. Some things you can't really say online.
All right.
I mean, it's still gonna be online. It's just not gonna be live.
No, he ends it, and it won't be live anymore. It can still stay on. When he ends it, it doesn't just end. These these links never end. You can go.
That's what I'm saying. We're still gonna be online because we're gonna be using
Yeah.
talking on the internet. So we're still online. We're just not live.
Well, it's not live, but
Yeah,
yeah,
peace to everyone. I hope y'all have a good day, and I'm
less
out.
online, I guess. Much love, everybody.